Well, hello, fellers and ladies. Even though this is mostly a sausage party here in the gig economy, mostly a sausage party. Let's see here. Dad Dash going to try and get himself comfortable. How are you? How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hope y'all enjoyed that photograph. That's somebody give me a seven in the chat, or somebody give me a 12 or a four chat or a five. Can somebody give me a three in the chat if they can see me and smell me? Well, now, hmm. 12. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank heavens for the 12. Thank heavens for the 12 and a three. Thank you. Thank you. Look, Dad, you know how early Dad Dash got up this morning for you? I took me a shower. You ain't never seen that happen before, have you? You scruffy old bastard. Scruffy old bastard. All righty. All righty. All righty. Well, good morning, everybody. It's a Dad Dash Sunday morning. It's a singing Dad Dash Sunday morning. Gonna try and get myself all comfy in here. This is a little makeshift. Dad Dash's computer sitting on a step stool out on a deck. So, Dad Dash got a little bit of fanciness going on here this morning. Let's see. We want you to hear my beautiful voice, so I'm gonna make sure that you're close enough. I want to be able to lay back and get a little comfy too. You don't want Dad Dash to be uncomfortable. How's everybody this morning? So I started off this morning. I started off my morning here in Dad Dash Land by watching the video from DoorDash Sucks. Brian, woo, that was a good video. Brian showed a video of a very nice woman named Liz. And let's see here. We might just take a look at that real quick while our friends are logging in here. We probably want to tell them what's been going on while they've been sleeping, because that bastard Glitch Dash, man, that guy just works while we're all sleeping, and I resent it. I resent it. I don't like it. I'm very bitter. I'm very bitter about the Glitch Dash. I feel like the deceptions of reality don't work on this man. The deception of reality of the multiple layers, I feel like they just don't work on the Glitch Dash, and that's frustrating to Dad Dash. That's frustrating to old Dad Dash. What do we got here? So here's let's see how we're doing here. Okay, okay, okay. This ain't graceful. I'm telling you that. Yeah. Well, Dad Dash got to wash that ass. I mean, Robert Reese last night. Robert Reese is always willing to answer the important questions of the gig economy. And Robert Reese last night helped some gig tubers learn how to take care of a shark. Robert Reese, my friend Robert Reese, the news channel of the gig economy. In fact, I just tuned in. I just liked me a hot facts video, just mere seconds before I logged on with you. I liked me a Robert Reese video from this morning where he's doing the news for the gig economy. So let's see. Last night, how do we share a screen? Here, let's see. Pop out dashboard. Well, man. See, old Dad Dash doesn't normally go directly with the YouTubes from the desktops. Dad Dash is trying some new configuration this morning. None of them working all that terribly well. That's okay. That's okay. You know how to find you the Thomas Schubeck Glitch Dash, right? You just put in the at Glitch Dash and you'll see they call me Glitch Dash. Anyway, Robert Reese last night answered a question. He gave a very detailed explanation of how to take care of a shark or poopy pants on the road. I assume he did that for Pedro DoorDash Depends Poopy Pants Santiago's current operation, because Pedro DoorDash Poopy Pants Santiago has given up on the gig economy. The gig economy bores him. Pedro DoorDash Poopy Pants Glitch Dash Santiago is now concerned with keeping your backside clean. I think he might be going into the bidet business with the Thomas Schubeck. Thomas Schubeck, he loves him that bidet. He don't want to be the poopy pants like the Glitch Dash Pedro Poopy Pants Santiago. So I hope all you folks that are addicted to the Pedro, DoorDash, Glitchy Pants, Poopy Pants, Santiago, I hope you're doing okay. Pedro don't produce much content these days. Pedro don't produce much content these days. Old Pedro, I think, is seems to me like that old Pedro is looking for a home, looking for a home. And I think the Poopy Pants Depends category is certainly one that he can grow into. I think it's one he can grow into. Um, DoorDash content. I don't think he's got anything to talk to you about on DoorDash anymore. I think that ship, if you will, has sailed from the Pedro, DoorDash, Glitchy Pants, Poopy Pants, Depends, Santiago fleet of bullshit. I think that ship has sailed, sailed. Oh my. So anyway, Brian, DoorDash Sucks, started off my morning by showing a video of a nice woman. Brian, Brian, maybe you could just put up a link in that chat to your video on Liz. Uh, I'd appreciate that, sir. If you put up a video, just a link there, and then we can put it in the comments after this show's done too. Because what Liz talks to you about, Liz is not a dasher. Liz is a consumer. Okay. Now, one of the things I want to point out to you before you watch this is that Liz may or may not look like the people you watch on TV. Now, don't be fooled by the TV that everybody looks like Gazelle Bundchen. Okay, everybody don't look like the Gazelle Bundchen. Dad Dash don't look like the Gazelle Bundchen either. Okay, we don't all get to marry the quarterback. We don't always get to marry the quarterback. Now, you see here though, Liz might be one of them really great people who looks just perfect as she is, just like old Dad Dash here. We're just perfect as we are. We can love ourselves today and tomorrow, even if we change or if we don't change or whatever else. We can love our kids. We can love everybody just as they are. If we all got to look like the Gazelle Bundchen, we're in big trouble. I don't look like Gazelle Bundchen. I ain't gonna look like Gazelle Bundchen. So when you go over and look at Liz Wheeler, don't you ever consider yourself making any unkind requirements, or Dad Dash will find you. I will find you and I will track you down. You understand? You just be nice to that Liz, because Liz is telling you good things. Liz is telling you that food that should have cost her and her truck driving partner, husband, I believe. She's a mother of two. She talks about that. A very wonderful person. And one of the people that I've just seen on there in about 2 seconds. And I went, that lady's the salt of the earth, just like Dad Dash. That lady is the salt of the earth. So Liz gets on there and she tells you the truth. Now, any you dare make some kind of personal comment about the person that's telling you the truth, that just means you're a piece of shit. That's what that means. That means you're like a Pedro, Poopy Pants, DoorDash, Glitch Dash, Depends Santiago. And you don't want to be like one of them Pedro, DoorDash, Glitchy Pants, Poopy Pants, Santiago. That's right. That's right. You don't want to be like that. $70 for some mac and cheese with some pork on top from the Waffle House. Now, by the way, Liz goes on to tell you very informatively for those of us in the audience here, that was before she paid the tip. So she already had the $70 plus, I think it was $74. You can watch Liz for yourself. You can watch Liz on Brian. You should subscribe to Brian's DoorDash Sucks, and you should subscribe to Liz's channel, because Liz has a lot of really good advice. Liz talks about how to live on the road, how to cook, how to eat, how to not be fleeced when you're already living in poverty. That's some things that, just like our friend Robert Reese of Hot Facts with Robert Reese did yesterday, that's a little lesson for people that maybe didn't learn that lesson yet. Look, we all got to learn lessons. Some of us didn't have parents that taught us how to cook food. Some of us didn't have homes to cook food in, right? Some of us grew up homeless or in foster care or in different situations where we just didn't have that kind of education that some people are fortunate enough to get. So Liz is on here giving you some education. Brian's on here giving you some education. Even old Dad Dash here is on here to maybe give you just a little bit of education. So when you go watch this Liz, she talks about the fact she's already got the sticker shock, and now she wants to figure out the fact that now she figures out the fact that this driver driven it to her, and she's got plenty of respect for the people doing the work. She shows that that person now gets needs to get a tip too. And this poor woman Liz is going through this and explaining this to you and telling you why she logged out. She did the log outage on her own. LOGOUTAGE. Dad Dash made up that word over a year ago for you. It's called the log outage. The log outage. I'm Dad Dash going to type that in the chat for you because you think it's so lovely. I like it so much. Just like app slavery, I sat around and just decided I'd make up some words for you. So what do we do? Oh, we got the labor laundering. That's a good one. That's what the gig economy does. Uh, Labor laundering. That's what they do on a global scale. Now you also got the app slavery. Now, Pedro, DoorDash, Glitchy Pants, Poopy Pants, Santiago loves the term app slavery. Steve Johnson of Hideshare Hodeo, he also loves the app slavery. Steve Johnson and I had a very eloquent and peaceful and friendly conversation about app slavery. And Steve Johnson of Rideshare Rodeo said that's just a fine word. We should be discussing that word. Now, Dad Dash just dropped his phone. I'm going to pick that up. Look, you ain't going to get eloquent. What did Dad just do here? Dad Dash opens up the stream elements, Jeepers Creepers. Dad Dash, let's pay attention here. Okay, let's fish out. All right, this is how you do things when you're the Dad Dash. Now, see, Dad Dash, he's always working. So I got myself here a scraper. Scrape that phone. Ugh. Well, how about that? Look at that. You got yourself a scraper and an iPhone. How about that? That's some Dad Dash. That's some Dad Dash gig economy. That's some Dad Dash gig economy. Let's see, improvisation. I think is what you call that. Call that the improvisation. Call that the improvisation. Okay. Okay. Well, when you release the book, Dad Dash, are you putting an AKA Dad Dash? Well, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. This is kind of one of those funny things. Let's finish talking about the Liz and we'll talk about the book a little bit. So, one of those funny things is that Dad Dash don't got no gig economy drivers in the book at this point. Dad Dash did not write a book about the Pedro Glitchy Pants, Poopy Pants, DoorDash Santiago, right? Didn't write a book about Steve Johnson of the Hideshare Hodeo. Didn't write a book about the Sergio Avedian or the Harry Campbell. Those folks are part of your story. They certainly are part of your story. They're a big part of your story. They're the folks that sold you right on down the river. They're the folks that sold you right down on the river, right down the river while they were pretending to be your friends. That's what those folks are. So, but they're not in the book yet. They might be in part two. They might be in part two. Part two might be a real barn burner, if you know what I'm saying. Might burn that barn right down. Might burn that barn right down. But part one, the part that I got for you, see, they don't want you to know what I got for you. Now, if you remember, you can probably go back if Pedro, DoorDance, Poopy Pants, Glitch Dash, Depends, Santiago has not deleted his live stream in which he had people on one of these live streams, or I think maybe he was on there with the Hideshare Hodeo, or he was on there with the Hannibal is Thirsty doing the gang stalking show. Who knows? That man went on so many shows within a few days besides his own channel. It's like he's trying to create himself a whole new Pedro personality. Hi, I'm Pedro. I'm not crazy at all. I'm here. I'm not here to turn you into a cult member. I'm just a friendly guy that talks about the gig economy and betting on yourself every day and losing every day. Losing on the bet you place every day. I'm a Pedro. I'm here to sell you something. So Pedro didn't like reality coming into his little cult world, did he? So Pedro told people, well, number one, Pedro said, I've been working on this book for 20 years. That'd make Dad Dash. Dad Dash ain't the stupidest person in the world. Dad Dash gone to a few years of school and all, but well, hell, if I started this book 20 years ago for you, Dad Dash would be a straight up seer of the future, straight up seer of the future. So Pedro got a lot of respect for this old Dad Dash, I guess. Yeah, Pedro's known about Dad Dash for quite a while now. Quite a while now. Yeah, maybe longer than he's known of the Cray Cray Night. Maybe longer than he's known of Thomas Glitch Dash Shoeback. Maybe longer than he's known about Red the Blue. Maybe longer than he's known about the Always Cherry. I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. I've been watching. I first started watching the videos. I think my first video that I watched was your driver's Mike's side money plans with the Matt was living in the San Diego, and your driver's Mike's money plans was was in San Diego doing the San Diego thing and driving around allegedly and talking about it. And so Mike was the first person I watched, and then of course I branched out to other gig tubers. I got a spreadsheet of them actually. Got a big old spreadsheet of them, which is funny because it's one of those that's one of those lies the Pedro DoorDash Glitchy Pants Poopy Pants Santiago and the Dad Dash and some other people know very well because well they talked to Jeff Thomas Black or they had well Pedro never talked to me because Pedro's a lying coward. Pedro don't want to talk to Dad Dash. Pedro never has and never will want to talk to Dad Dash. Pedro's fucking terrified of the Dad Dash. Only thing Pedro's ever wanted is Dad Dash to come on his show so he could mute Dad Dash. And that's Dad Dash just ain't that stupid. Dad Dash, Pedro, 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 Pedro. Yeah, see, Dad Dash making dad noises over here. Dad Dash got to lean all forward, squish his stomach all up, making dad noises. Okay. So, the Pedro DoorDash Glitchy Pants Poopy Pants Santiago certainly knew that Jeff Thomas Black existed, let's say back in, well, maybe August of a year ago. And Sherry to be your, I think that's a zombie. I'm going to read this. Well, I ain't the best. I ain't the best reader of the emojis of the emoticons, but I'm gonna try. All right, so let's go back and read. Gig after suppose Pedro Bot hasn't even got one more new subscriber in 2 months. Well, allegedly, my friend, Pedro is coming back on the monetized eligibility for the October 1st. So I think we should have ourselves probably an October 1st Oktoberfest party for the Pedro. We'll call it Pedro Fest. October 1 is going to be Pedro Fest. Everybody, so I put that in the chat. Everybody put a 1 in the chat if you're excited about Pedro Fest because we all got to be there on October 1st when the Pedro comes back. We're going to go to Pedro Fest. Pedro Fest 2023. Pedro Fest 2023. We got ourselves a date. Pedro Fest 2023. October 1st. October 1st. October 1st. We're gonna get that bastard Glitch Bash Thomas Shoeback to talk about this. Hell, Glitch Dash will be on live as the clock changes over. Glitch Dash will be watching this live. It'll be like, you know what? Pedro loves the balls. Pedro loves the balls. Pedro has calipers in his car where he measures his testicles daily and records it in a spreadsheet, just like Dad Dash taught him to. Pedro records his testicular size via the calipers. He gets the calipers out, he measures his testiculars every single day and records in his spreadsheet, then sends it to Dad Dash where I analyze it for him. I put it in some graph charts and some chart graphs, and I do some of the calculations, and I figure out if the testicular size is optimal for glitching. You see, what Pedro taught me is that if you do not have a deep voice, if you don't have a real deep voice, if you can't talk and speak like the man that Pedro is, if you can't talk and speak like the man that Pedro is, with testiculars that are like so fucking big, testiculars that are so fucking big that you could like go back to high school and bully people with your testiculars just from the future. You could be like it could be like what do you call that with the Back to the Future? Pedro's testicles can go back and bully kids in high school. Pedro can go back and bully kids from the basketball team with his own pants basketballs in high school. It's truly amazing. The man has extrasensory powers. The man has extrasensory powers. Pydro says Drone Days. Hello, Drone Days. Hello, Arizona Prod. Truth about cherry pick. I do not know you, but truth about cherry pick would be a very nice thing to have. That cherry pick's a mysterious bastard. Okay, Dad Dash, how much are you paying cherry pick? Okay, that's a pick. That's like a pickaxe. Dad Dash got it. To be your zombie. I assume that's a zombie. Maybe that's a troll. Oh, it's a troll. It's a troll. It's a troll. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ain't trying to mislead you. Okay. With that be in your book, a whole chapter perhaps on you and Cherry's days in chapel here panning out this whole revolution. Well, sir, I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that theory. That would be a wonderful theory. Um, that Cherry's a smart, that Cherry. Hello, Eli. Hello, Coach Eli. Tennis ball size. Well, tennis balls ain't big enough for it for Pedro. Tennis balls are okay for our regular underwear, Steve Arrow, but Pedro got to get himself custom pants. Pedro got to get himself custom pants. Well, that's one of the reasons Pedro got the glitchy pants, poopy pants, depends Santiago sponsorship and made that the corporate thruple between the DoorDash, the Pedro poopy pants, and the depends. Pedro DoorDash poopy pants depends Santiago. Right. So the reason he did that, Pedro's got the extra large testicles. Like you can't get standard depends diapers. You got to get the basketball testicular depends diapers is what you got to get yourself. You know, that's what you got to get yourself. That's what you got to get yourself. You see, Dad Dash is sitting out here in the fog and the rain. Well, I'm covered. I'm covered. I ain't getting wet. I ain't gonna electrocute myself, but I don't like that old indoors that Pedro sells to you. Pedro's trying to trap me in his cult, and I do not trust him. He ain't gonna get me in the doors. You ain't gonna get me in the doors. Pedro thinks a real man with giant testiculars defrauds the community. That is true. It takes a very low voice, sir. Look, Arizona Prod. I know you teasing me, but it takes a very low voice and very large testiculars to defraud an entire community, sir. Uh well, Dad Dash is a crybaby, is who's a crybaby. I cry a lot. Dad Dash cries a lot. Hannibal is very thirsty. Hannibal's very thirsty. Dad Dash cries a lot. You know what? Dad Dash, there's this gentleman. I'm going to type it in the chat. I'm going to type it in the chat because nobody watches this channel. I swear to God, nobody watches this channel. This man put out a video and it was out for 24 hours as of yesterday. And I think 50 people had watched it. Hey, DoorDash Rick, nice to see you, sir. Let's see. He's called himself Dad Dash 13. Dad dash lucky number dad dash 13. The 13 dad dash 13. You want to go to that channel. You want to go subscribe to that dad dash 13 because he got himself 1,000 subscribers and no viewers. 1,000 subscribers, 3 years of material, no viewers. It's mighty puzzling to Dad Dash. Now I'm the real Dad Dash, as you know. This Dad Dash 13, I don't know what the fuck this guy is. this guy. So yesterday, okay, let's talk about the Dad Dash 13. Let's talk about the Dad Dash 13. So Dad Dash 13's name, as you might know, is Steven. Steve. Steve has a couple different names, you see. Now the Steve, Dad Dash, he's a lying to you every time he opens his mouth. The Dad Dash 13, that is, which is why I'm the real Dad Dash. He don't get to keep the Dad Dash. Well, he can be Dad Dash 13, but I'm Dad Dash. I don't give a fuck what that man is. Well, hello, Matthew Arredondo, sir. It's nice to see a fellow Texan down in these parts. Nice to see a fellow Texan down these parts. You might see today I'm a broadcaster from Palm Beach, Florida. You may notice the blue ocean. You may notice the blue ocean over my right shoulder, your left shoulder, my right shoulder. You might notice that. Let's see here. Let's see what the poopy pants Dad Dash Santiago says. Dad Dash. Oh, he also calls him Dad Dash Industries because he's not only lucky number 13, he's also very industrial. Dad Dash is very industrial. I think you can tell how industrial the Dad Dash is, quite frankly. Let's see. Oh, 1 year ago, how to make money with DoorDash. Dad Dash along, tip baited by. Well, that's 1 year ago. That got that got 12 views. You know how many 12 is? 12 is that many. That's how many 12. That's how many 12 is. Now we got allegedly, according to this, allegedly, uh, oh, you come see me. You come, everybody, you just come see me in Palm Beach. Everybody, you know how the Tony Hsu and the Stanley Tang and the Andy Fang got themselves billionaire mansions down here. Well, you can go visit them. They live down here too. They got the matching mansions. Did you know that? You can read about that when they sold out. When they sold out the DoorDash to the public company so that they could be billionaires and not give a shit what happens after that, which they do not. How much sleep are you gonna lose at night about money if you're a multi-billionaire? The answer is none. The answer is none. None sleep. That's how much you're gonna lose none sleep when you're a billionaire about money. Yes, the ocean is behind the trees in the back. The blue ocean's right over there. I caught myself a dolphin this morning. I did myself some dolphin swimming this morning. And I caught my yep, down there near the Devil's Lair. Well, you see that. You see that with old Dad Dash. You see that with old Dad. So let's see. So the first one that popped up, and I'm not making stuff up here. This is just I got all videos in the YouTube and I put in Dad Dash Industries. You can do that right at home along with me if you want to. Let's see. Now another one, it says a year ago. Now this is mighty weird because I was following Dad Dash a year ago and I didn't see many of these videos. I think these videos kind of appeared more recently, if you know what I'm saying. I think these videos appeared in bulk recently. Now, why would old Dad Dash just surprise you with 3 years of content all at once? I don't know. I do not know. Let's see. A year ago, he got 13 views, but it was in 4K. It was in 4K. Let's see here. Dad Dash, 22 views, 19 views, 10 views. 10 views 2 years ago, he says. So when Dad Dash ended up in my hand, let's say a mutual friend put that phone in my hand. You may remember that. I told you that. Dad Dash did not fall out of a tree and hit Jeff Thomas Black on the head, and Jeff Thomas Black did not call Dad Dash. That's a Dad Dash Steve Askin ending up in my hand on a telephone from a mutual acquaintance, if you will, a mutual acquaintance. Mutual acquaintance. How I bet y'all wondering to yourself, how does a mutual acquaintance have Dad Dash and Jeff Thomas Black in their lives? Well, that's a mighty fine question. That's a good question you're asking. That's a very, very good question you're asking. Oh, Dad Dash, I don't think Dad Dash is who Dad Dash says he is, Coach Eli, too. That's maybe the point of this, is that the feller telling you that his name is Steve Askin, Stephen Maskini, Askin, Ass Maskin, Ass Backwards Maskin, Dad Dash. Whoever this guy is, he ain't normal. Now, when I say he ain't normal, I don't mean he's got the abnormal testicular size of the Pedro. He ain't carrying. I ain't saying Dad Dash is carrying around the Pedro basketballs in his custom underwear. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that Dad Dash is not a normal person. Dad Dash has lots of connections in this world that he ain't telling you about. Just like when he went on, I think Eli, he went on your show, didn't he? I was traveling. I was on the road driving my car from one city to another for many interesting reasons, if you will. Yeah, Dad Dash is pulling a SOSOP on you. So Dad Dash gets on there pulling a SOSOP, which is like a PSYOP, but it's from a sociologist like Dad Dash. So it's a SOSOP. I made that word up for you too. That's a new word for you. It's called the SOSOP. It's going to stick. It's going to stick. I make up pretty good words. I like to play with them words and letters. So, so Dad Dash alleging that he's some guy named Steve, alleging that he's got a last name and that he got kids and that he's calling me and that he wants to get in this. Well, I just don't believe that. I just do not believe that that has any credibility now that we know what we know, right? There ain't no coincidence called Dad Dash. Yeah, he was only on your channel and mentally challenged. Well, so here's the thing, Eli. I've seen mighty few people. I've seen mighty many people, many people get trolled on broadcasting, whether it be broadcast TV, whether it be broadcast on the internet, YouTube's, you name it, any number of platforms. I ain't never seen anybody quite like the Dad Dash. It's almost like Dad Dash don't have no personal feelings. Now that happens a couple different ways. Remember, I'm a PhD Nobel Prize winning sociologist here, Dad Dash Industries 13. Dad Dash Industries 13 is a world class PhD sociologist, foremost in the understanding of the mind of the gig economy worker. So Dad Dash, yeah, Dad Dash green screens. Well, I'll tell you, some of them cars might be green screens. I don't know. I do not know. I'm not sure everybody just broadcast right from their car like everybody think they do. I do think we could be deceived by our own little eyes sometimes. So anyway, this dad dash, this dad dash ain't no normal feller. Normal fellers don't have 3 years of corporate videos in the can. Normal fellers don't come in there get planted in your hand by somebody nefarious. Normal fellers don't go in there switching sides and stabbing people in the back and calling people cult leaders and telling them their book do or don't exist and then changing their story and say, well, it does exist because I was recommending it, but I didn't really like him. I just liked the material and he was right, but he was wrong. Dad dash. So yeah, okay. So there's a couple different explanations, Coach Eli. Just like I said from the start here, I went into this with a little bit of the rose-colored glasses about the gig content, gig tube content producers in this industry, because I had no reason to think otherwise at the time. I did not. Now, of course, now I know otherwise. I don't just think otherwise. I know for a fact otherwise. Right. So any of these things, these folks run around calling you conspiracy theories. No, sir. It's there might be conspiracies, there might be theories, there might be both of those, but this ain't made up. This is true and real life. Uh Mentally ill diagnosis schizophrenic, well, that's another possibility. So I told you from the start with my rose colored glasses, there's two possibilities here. There's possibility that one, Pedro DoorDash, Poop the Pants, Glitch Dash, Depend Santiago is honestly stupid. This man is stupid. He's so dumb. He's so completely dumb that he can't figure out truth from fiction. He can't figure out right from wrong. He can't figure out light from dark. He can't figure out night from day. That's possible. Pedro, Glitchy Pants, DoorDash, Poopy Pants, Depend Santiago could be that stupid. He could be that stupid. He's a very dumb individual. Steve Johnson could be that stupid. He is also not the brightest individual. That's very clear. But I think the much more and only real scenario is that they're dishonestly stupid. They are playing characters for you. Pedro's playing the character of a crazy-eyed cult leader, right? I'm Pedro. I'm Pedro. You can't talk to me. You got to come on my show. I'm Pedro. I'm a little bit crazy, but you like me. Okay. So that's I don't know if that's coming off. I don't know if that's coming off as well as it does on my iPhone. My iPhone does a better Pedro. Uh, right. Nobody cares about Dad Dash. Well, but see, that's clear. That's clear, Stephen Arrow. Nobody cares about Dad Dash because nobody's watching his videos. This boy claims that he got 1,000 subscribers now, right? So we can click on his channel over here. You got 1,000 subscribers, and so 2 days ago he put up a staying motivated in the gig economy DoorDash video. Well, he's a staying motivated with 56 views in 2 days, and I think about 55 of those were me looking at it and laughing. Okay. 55 of it were me looking at it and laughing my motherfucking ass off because this man's a flailing and a failing. Let's see, 4 days ago, he put out understanding how to make money with a capital M and O. I assume that's a special kind of money when you don't use the capitalization properly. Uh, Understanding how to make more money using what is he using? Using what's he using? Using gig capitalized apps $ money bag. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. He got any comments on this one at all? Name one comment. Not one comment. The man posted 4 days ago, 140 views, not one comment. Like 130 of those are me laughing though. I'm sorry. I'm throwing the figures off. People, I can't stop laughing at this motherfucker. Uh, okay, and then 5 days ago, why shop and pay is the future of gig work. Wait a minute. That bastard Thomas Glitch Dash Schubeck spent all last night telling me how Shop and Pay is a ripoff, and now Dad Dash and the Pedro Glitch Pants Poopy Pants Santiago are both begging you to do the Shop and Pay. Hmm. Well, it seems like Steve Askin is Steve Askin. We should just call him Steve Askin. Can we all agree right now that we're going to stop calling him Dad Dash? Because I am Dad Dash. Let's type that in the chat. Let's type that in the chat. We're going to type that in the chat. We're going to help Steve out. We're going to help Steve out. His name is Steven, not Stephen Arrow, not that bastard. Askin. Askin. Steven Askin. He is not Dad Dash 13. We need to do not call him that. Steve asking for a raise. That's right. We're gonna all call him Steve Asking now because I heard him talking and a whining, and he, this man, this man cannot tell the truth if it fell on his head. Okay, this man told people. This man, what was he on? I think Glitch Dash was showing this shit because I don't have time to watch this. I watched the Glitch Dash. Glitch Dash when Dad Dash was trolling him 2 nights ago. Dad Dash and Tommy, his little psychopath friend, and four of Dad Dash's sock accounts were all trolling the Glitch Dash in his live. And Glitch Dash, by the way, got about 8,000 viewers in that live so far. So maybe Mr. 50, Mr. I did a 50-person no comment motivational video. Steve Askin, I should call the Glitch Dash for some tips, don't you think? Maybe Steve Askin can drop the Dad Dash persona and call into the Glitch Dash Thomas Schubeck for some broadcasting tips, or maybe hit up the Robert Reese. Maybe you can hit up the Robert Reese Hot Facts and say, Robert, what am I supposed to do now? Because nobody's watching my videos and they all call me Steve Askin. Pedro DoorDash San Diego Senior, the third chimp on the left. I am Pedro Dad Dash. My wife Pedro's mother is a chimp. Have a nice day. Well, that is true. That is true. We all just the chimps and the chumps around here. We the chimps and the chumps and the app slaves, and that's all we ever been. Steve Askin is so terrible. The only option was to marry his high school sweetheart. Well, you don't get 25 kids unless you get going early, sir. The early bird uses the worm, if you know what I'm saying. The early bird uses the worm. That's a Dad Dash wisdom for you. Early bird uses the worm. You got to use that worm early in the morning. There's a number of advantages to using that worm early in the morning. You catch them fish, you catch them birds, you catch all kinds of things. Catch yourself a kitty cat. Catch yourself a kitty cat with them worms. Anyway, Steve Askin, Steve Askin, Steve Askin. Oh, I know why we're going to talk about Steve Askin. So and I'm a laughing, right? I just laughing and a watching and a watching and a laughing. This is a funny man, right? This is a funny fucking man. Steve Askin says, old Jeff Thomas Black got my name. And he's like, well, how'd Jeff Thomas Black get your name? He goes, well, we sent email to each other and he got my name off the email. That's what the Dad Dash said. That's what the Steve Askin, I'm sorry, Dad Dash 13, Steve Askin. I got to start calling him the right thing. I apologize to you. So Steve Askin said, Jeff Thomas Black got my name off the email. All right, Steve. All right, Steve. Steve, you told me your name over the phone, you fool. My goodness. Like, look, there ain't nothing this guy's presenting himself to be that he is. I got no idea. I got literally no idea who this guy is. I got literally no idea who this guy is. But I'll tell you one thing. Steve Askin, the guy who took an account called Dad Dash 13 and has done nefarious things with it for 3 years. This guy ain't who he says he is. This guy ain't who he says he is. He ain't no Steve Askin. He ain't no Dad Dash 13. He ain't no nothing. This guy is this guy's from somebody's central casting organization, just like the Pedro Glitchy Pants Poopy Pants Depends Santiago is from somebody's central casting corporation. They said, we need ourselves a cult leader. And somebody went like, oh, well, I know somebody that could be a cult leader. I know somebody that could sell a bunch of useless shit to people in poverty and convince them that they're going to bet on themselves. Oh, they're bitter. Yes, so that they're bitter. Look, nobody's watching their material, man. Arizona Prod. You just Arizona Prod. I'm going to give a plug to my friend Arizona Prod. Everybody go over there to Arizona Prod. You sign yourself up. Arizona Prod's produced, to my account, sir or ma'am, 3 videos so far, uh, and you can watch those. So this little cartel that they like to pretend that doesn't exist. Well, we broke it. That's why it don't exist anymore. We broke it because now people like Arizona Prod can put up videos and speak their truth, and they ain't going to get gang stalked into oblivion like Brian did when he was by himself, or like I guess there was somebody called the Dashing Dad or something, and then he went to the GigiCon Dawn or something like that. Yeah, that boy, that person, right, was stalked. Eli, whatever Eli too, our friend here, Coach Eli in the chat here. Well, Eli's a person. He's got a past and a future and a present, just like you, just like me. Now, why would anybody be so excited about Eli and what he's doing in September of 2023 unless they had some ulterior motivation? Okay. Look, Eli's a pretty darn interesting guy. Eli, you're a very interesting guy. I find you interesting. You ain't that interesting because I'm not that interesting either. Brian's not that interesting. Glitch Dash Thomas Schubeck, pretty damn interesting guy. Maybe he is that interesting. You guys watching him by the thousands, as I do as well. Glitch Dash Thomas Schubeck. They call me Glitch Dash. He has those shows on virtually every night with thousands and thousands and thousands of people watching and speaking their truth. Well, he might be that interesting, but I'm not. You're not. Too bad. You lose again. And that is a fact, right? All these people lost. Pedro, Glitch Pants, DoorDash, Poopy Pants, Santiago. Yes, sir. That is my mugshot from Multnomah County, sir, Wild Alaska. That is a real mugshot. Uh, yeah, I put that up for you. I was talking to a friend this morning, Wild Alaska, and I said, what should be this thumbnail for the Dad Dash Sunday morning? I thought, well, hey, I got a good shot. I take me a pretty good mug shot, all things considered. You see how much you're smiling after they abuse your body. It's pretty good mugshot. It's pretty good mugshot. Well, so Oregon did something funny. So Oregon took those all down. So you used to be able to go to different websites and get all the mug shots. But you know what they figured out? What they figured out is that many people, including yours truly, get their mugshot taken, then get found innocent of all charges. All those charges get dropped like they never existed. Like they never existed. No crimes were committed, no convictions, no jury trial, no sentences from judges, no probation, no court conditions, nothing. Right? Just dropped, full on dropped. So, well, that's kind of funny, isn't it? When you go to jail and you get yourself a tour of the facilities, and then they got to drop all the charges. I enjoy that. I enjoy that. That's what Dad Dash calls a little bit of fun. That's what Jeff Thomas Black called a little bit of fun. I'm retired now because I'm too big boned to go through their process. I'm too big boned, and Dad Dash is tired. I don't want to get arrested anymore. You can go get arrested if you want. Oh, that's true. I am not a criminal. Have never. Well, I might be a criminal. I might be an outlaw or something. I hope so. I hope I'm an outlaw, but I ain't no criminal by the injustice system that rules in the United States of America. Thank heavens. Yeah. Yep. The numbers are growing. The numbers are growing. Are you going to address you and Cherry Picker, or is this just Dad Dash 13 not care about seeing me talk about all the time? I think the real story is you and Cherry. Well, okay. Okay. Truth about Cherry. So, Truth about Cherry, that's a good name. I've never seen you before. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. So, if you can't tell, this is all pretty funny to me. This is all pretty funny. Now, it's been my life too, but it's been my life long enough, just like gig work's been your life long enough. I have to learn to enjoy it, don't I? What am I going to do? Walk around with a mopey face all day like Pedro, DoorDash, Glitch Dash, Poopy Pants, Santiago? Uh, that's right. That's right, Wild Alaska. We don't tend to need ourselves to comply with laws that don't apply to us or might be, in our opinion, illegally configured, do we? I don't recognize illegal orders or illegal laws or things that violate my constitution. And if you want me to recognize those, they wanted me to recognize those. That's why they arrested me. They said you have to recognize our laws breaking your constitutional rights. And I said, no, I don't. And I told the judge before that mugshot you saw, before you that mugshot you see that I think I put up here as the opposition research for myself for you this morning. I did some opposition research for you this morning on myself. So the reason I put that up there is that was my show. You think that was their show? No, that was my show. I got that photo taken because I wanted to have that photo taken. You see, Dad Dash ain't normal. Dad Dash ain't a normal human being. You do not want to be Dad Dash's parents. It's not a good time. You do not want to be Dad Dash's parents. Anyway, yes, I am going to go to the beach today. I'm going to go to the beach with my friend Always Cherry Pick. Always Cherry Pick and I are going to go what we call hoe shopping today. We need to do the hoe shopping, which I ain't going to tell you what that is, but it's something we do in Florida. So okay, so let's take you at your word, truth about cherry. Since I don't know who you are, you could be Dad Dash 13 Steve Askin for all I know. You could be Always Cherry Pick for all I know. You could be anybody. So, but I'll answer your question truthfully because I ain't got no reason not to. So I heard about Always Cherry Pick about the same time I heard about Mr. Flex's Lounge, which was from Torp. So if you want to know like what's the connection between Jeff Thomas Black and these guys? How do you find these guys or how'd they find them? Well, I wrote a book, right? I mean, people find me because I've been around making trouble for a year and a half. Okay. Uh, and that's how Steve Askin and his friends found me is because I was out there making trouble and they thought, well, let's go make some trouble for him. That's what Steve Askin thought. That's what Steve Askin thought. Steve Askin was incorrect. And Steve Askin made me a lot of fun. Steve Askin made himself a lot of trouble. He didn't make no trouble for me. He ain't never made any trouble for me. He don't have that power. He ain't smart enough. All the people he worked for, all the people in his little gang, they ain't smart enough. See, I've been doing this for a while. That mugshot, you see that mugshot. When you go through the processes and you go through the injustice system and you go through breaking the law strategically, if you will, which is called civil disobedience. And it's civil because I'm a very peaceful person. I just stand there and smile and let them arrest me. I don't always smile. Sometimes I frown. Sometimes I tell them they're a pig. But sometimes you got to tell people what they is so they understand. Steve asking for trouble. Yeah, that's sure. Steve did ask for some trouble, and he found himself some trouble here, right? He found himself a heap of trouble because he ain't got nobody watching his channel anymore. And the man lost his credibility. You know what? You know what show I like? You know what show I like? I like that movie uh, called Pulp Fiction. Remember in the Pulp Fiction where Vin Rames tells that man he lost his privileges and he needs to be gone and stay gone. That's Steve Askin Dad Dash. He needs to be gone and stay gone. That's what Steve Askin needs to do. Is he needs to be gone and stay gone because he just can't stop lying to you. He knows he's caught with his pants down. He's been caught with his pants down for so long he don't even know where his pants are anymore. He can't find his pants. He cannot find his pants. So he's trying to tell you some bunch of meanie pants are tracking him down and saying things. Well, no. Steve Askin's his own little meanie pants. Him and the Pedros and the Necros and the whatever else. They're all piling around under their multiple identities, uh, working and slaving and a shopping and a lying for whoever they're working and slaving and a shopping and a lying for. Now, there's this guy, truth about cherry. There's some guy up there calls himself always cherry picker. He says, I am, let's see, I'm Dracula, I'm the devil, I am Buddha, and I am your leader, and I am the king of the cult, and I lead everybody. Well, okay. Seems like he is somebody's kind of leader because he exposed his buddy. Well, I don't know who's buddies with who anymore. Seems all them poker players at the table with the aces up them sleeves are shooting their testiculars under the table right now. I'm just watching them all shoot their testiculars and standing back and smiling. But anyway, so Cherry decided to shoot UDM's testiculars and did that pretty publicly. Cherry's been pretty mean to the Steve Askin Dad Dash 13 if you watch any of Cherry's stuff. Now, I've called into Cherry's show a couple times as the Dad Dash. Couple, when I say a couple, maybe three or four. Three, no, I think three is the Dad Dash. Now, I also called him as Jeff Thomas Black after this story broke because Cherry was the one that broke it. See, Cherry was the one that put up the video that stayed up of him having this conversation with other parties about Pedro DoorDash, Bitch Pants, Poopy Pants, Santiago, and Mr. Flex. Cherry put that up. Cherry's what you call, well, Cherry and the Dad Dash 13, Steve Askin are what you call the ringleaders here. Okay, they were the ones that leaked this. Now, again, I'm going to go back. How do I know about Cherry or Necro or who else? Bob. Yeah, I ran across Bobby way back when, but I didn't know Bobby was part of this game. Well, I was watching Torp, and so Torp was coming on, and Torp had some kind of conflict with what they called the Lounge at that time. I think the Lounge went out of business because they's racist and hate speech filled dipshits. I think the Lounge went out of vogue, at least, if not off the YouTubes. So that, sir, truth about Cherry is the answer of how I ran across the Cherry pick is because of Torp. So Torp was on his channel. I watch every single Torp video, have for a long time. I'm a big fan of the man's speechifying. I think the man's an orator, and I like what he says, and I 95% of the time agree with him. 95% of the time agree with him. And that 5% of the time, him and I just fight it out. We just duke it out like 55-year-old men that we are. Born in 1968, Torp and I just get down and we do the thing. He got them scrawny legs, but he got them good arms. He got them good arms. I outweigh the motherfucker by 100 pounds, but that's just the way the chips fall. We in different weight classes. So, love you, Torp. Love you, Torp. Anyway, so the Torp was being picked on by this group. They were ganging him up on him like they've done to many personages. I think they did that actually to the Dasher Dad or whatever they called him, GigaCon Don that no longer produces content anymore. I think they did that to him too. They did that to Brian. They did that to many different people, and of course they tried to do that to me. But I ain't a gig tuber. I ain't a gig ruber. I am not. I am part of their community, but I am not in their little. I am not within their circle of control, if you will. So they made a circle of control over this gig tube with their little cartel, and anybody that came up telling an alternate narrative, just like our friend here, AZ Prod, he's come up and he's done 3 videos in the last week that are an alternate narrative. Well, if we were back a year ago, they'd have been all over AZ Prod like flies on shit, right? Because they're the flies. AZ Prod ain't shit though. AZ Prod's just like one of them let's dime store plastic shits with some sprinkles on it. He's a sugary, nice guy that's sharing some shit with you. So they got fooled. They got fooled. They ain't very smart. House flies ain't that smart. These are about people with the intelligence of house flies. You seem a little nervous and unable to keep your thoughts together. No, sir, I ain't nervous. I ain't nervous at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. You don't know me very well. Oh, I've been doing this a long time, sir. And by the way, nobody cares about this. I mean, truth about Cherry. The reason I wouldn't be nervous is nobody fucking cares, man. If you're under the impression that somebody cares or that that's something that I could be nervous about, well, that's just not true. So I just told you how I found the Cherry. Now, what they were doing with Torp is Torp had said something. If I remember, he had said something. Oh, I remember this vampiric name that one of these fellers has called the Necro, which is I think short for necromancer, which is short for like vampire, which is short for bloodsucker, which is short for evil or whatever else, right? So they're playing. It's a multi-layered cake game they're playing here. Lots of layers. They want you to be confused. They're always cherry, not truth and cherry. They want you to be confused. So they said that instead of saying necro, they claimed that Torp was using some kind of hate speech, and they were gaslighting that man for a mighty long time. They were gaslighting the old Torp, and so I'm watching this and I'm thinking, who are these people? Torp ain't no racist. Like that's not who Torp is. Torp ain't no hater of people. I mean, we all say things that can be interpreted or misinterpreted or whatever else, and people can misinterpret things purposefully when they want to. They do that all the time, misinterpret things purposefully. I mean, that's Pedro DoorDash, Bitch Pants, Poopy Pants, Depends Santiago's main game is misinterpreting things. Like nobody's picking the fight with the Pedro. All you got to do is say Pedro, Pedro, Pedro 3 times in your bathroom mirror, with the lights off, and Pedro appears right there and goes, "Hi, I'm Pedro. You will not talk about me." Right? I mean, that's all you got to do. You say the Pedro 3 times, he's right there, and that's happened for a long time. Pedro's got a lot of the eyes. The walls have eyes. The eyes have walls. These eyes have walls around the Pedro, right? So you're working with walleyes. And then you get your weirdos like Tommy, like, okay, so Dad Dash 13 like hanging out with the Tommy who gets drunk and threatens people and talks about all kinds of illegal activities, real illegal activities. We ain't talking civil disobedience here or jokes, right? They're talking about real felony type activities. Dad Dash 13 and the Tommy, right? So you ask yourself, like, if Dad Dash 13 was really a dad with 25 kids, is he looking to go to federal prison? Is that where Dad Dash 13 wants to watch his kids grow up? Is from federal prison? Steve Askin wants to watch his kids grow up from the federal prison? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who Steve Askin is. I don't know if he really got any kids at all. I don't know if I don't know I don't know what he is or who he is. I know he ain't who he says he is. And I know that his relationship with me personally ain't what he said he is. It is. I mean, I also know, and Robert Reese knows, hot facts with Robert Reese. Somebody put up hot facts in that chat. Somebody put up the hot facts with Robert Reese. And let's give credit to our news channel who keeps us apprised of all the news. The hot facts with Robert Reese. So Robert Reese knows that I publicly challenged, not only saying it like it was, Dino the dinosaur, who of course will avoid me and evade me until the cows come home, which is never, never. Them chocolate milk fluffing cows ain't never coming home. Okay. So not only did I yeah, exactly. Well, I think Steve Maskini, maybe. Steve Maskini was another name, Maskini, that he had. He had a couple of them Twitter accounts. Steve Maskini, Steve Askin. Yep, thank you for putting up the hot facts there. Well, I publicly went on hot facts with my face, and I also wrote out with my fingers and with words. Well, I challenged Dad Dash to just appear on the Robert Reese show with me, and we'll just debate. And I'll bring my documentation. I'll bring my documentation of our chats. I'll bring my documentation of our phone calls and what time and day they were, and I'll bring my documentation of everything. I'll bring that, and we'll just talk about those things, and we'll talk about the day, the actual very day that Dad Dash 13 was just placed in my hand with a cell phone. And I said, "Hi, this is Jeff Thomas Black. I'm looking up your account right here, Dad Dash Industries. Yep, looks like it's a new account. Very nice to meet you, Steve. I'm a writing a book." And he says, "I'm a Steve. I just talked to this person that just put me on the phone with you. And then, I'm a nice guy." And I said, "Okay, Steve, you're a nice guy." So that's how Steve and I met. Okay. Now, I did not, as Steve said, somehow look at an email from him and figure out that he was entitling himself Steve Askin or Steve Maskini. That was his own doing. That's his screen name on Twitter if it's still there, and that's his name that he introduced himself with over the phone. Anyway, I think you guys getting the idea that Steve Askin ain't no Dad Dash 13, no Dad Dash at all, right? He's an imposter. Well, you can just call him DoorDash. You can call him DoorDash Devil, or you can call him DoorDash Steve, DoorDash Askin, Steve DoorDash Poopy Pants, Pedro Askin. There's a lot of names for Steve, but ain't Dad Dash. I'm Dad Dash. I'm going to change my YouTube account to Dad Dash, by the way. He can keep Dad Dash Industries and Dad Dash 13. I'm Dad Dash. You see, he don't get that name back because I'm a real dad. I'm a real dad that's fighting for my kids. I don't know what that motherfucker's fighting for. He ain't fighting for my kids. He ain't fighting for his kids. Not fighting for your kids. So that motherfucker can pound salt. Yes, he can. And I clearly assume, and please prove me wrong, Dad Dash Steve Askin, Poopy Pants, 13 Santiago. Please show up on the Robert Reese on the video, and you just have a debate with me publicly, and we'll just read our messages to each other, shall we? Let's just do that. We'll just talk about the people we know. We'll talk about the people we know in common, won't we, Steve? We'll talk about people we know in common. He hurt my feelings. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. He didn't hurt my feelings. I think it's hilarious. He did us a huge favor. He did us a huge favor. Well, see, truth about Cherry up here, it seems like you don't want the truth. Seems like you call yourself the truth about Cherry, and what you want is the lies about DoorDash. I ain't going to give you the lies about DoorDash. I'm going to give you the truth about DoorDash. So the truth about DoorDash is DoorDash has uh, a sew shop here. Truth about Cherry, and you part of the sew shop. Everybody say hi to Truth about Cherry and say, Truth about Cherry, you're part of the sew shop. Everybody say hi to Cherry in the chat. Let's say, I'm going to say hi to Truth about Cherry too. Truth about Cherry is a sew shop. Hello, Truth about Cherry. I'm going to follow you or you follow me because I want to know who you are. I want to look you up. Let's see here. I don't want to hide you. I don't want to put you in timeout. I want to find you. I want to find you. Truth about Cherry. I'm going to find you. Let's see. Truth about Cherry. Let's try and find Truth about Cherry because I'm going to find you. Just like I'm going to find Steve Askin, you see. I'm going to find him. See, you don't want to be found, but I'm going to find you. I'm going to find you. True about Cherry. Jeff is just stating the news. That's all. No, I'm not hurt. Eli isn't hurt either. Look, man, these guys, Eli's about to turn 50. He's going to have himself a 50th birthday party. You think his 50th birthday party, he's worried about you, Rubes? You got to be kidding me, man. I hope you got more going on in your life than to believe that either Eli or me or Brian or Glitch Dash Thomas Schubeck or Robert Reese or Torp or anybody else cares about how you think of us. Look, man, you think we don't know we're breaking up a cabal of lies and we didn't expect people like you to come at us? Come on, man. Come on. Yeah, we getting old. I'm down there. Look, man, I may meet Cherry for breakfast this morning if he's up for it. I don't know. I saw him online this morning. I saw Cherry online this morning exposing parts of his gang. I'm right in there. I'm right down there. I'm right down there around the Tony Shu and Stanley Tang and Andy Fang uh, mansions, the billion-dollar, million-dollar mansions. You can read about those online. You can read about the trio of mansions that they made. Now, one of the interesting things, and I've said this before, and I'm saying this to you because I haven't actually researched it. There is one guy that was in the Stanford startup garage with Tony, Stanley, and Andy, and went through this, and he was not he was not of Chinese descent. He had a different name, and I do not. We could look that up. I don't remember his name right now, but he didn't stay with the company. He didn't stay with the company. He didn't keep a position. It was not Harriet Campbell, but close enough. So this person, I'm a guessing. See, Dad Dash here is going to guess, knowing what I know about the corporate world, that this fourth founder did not want to be part of what these three gentlemen were doing. I'm not saying he didn't want to be a billionaire, or maybe he got to be a billionaire anyway. But there's somebody in there that did not want to be a part of this vampiric, necro-based, let's kill all the humans on planet Earth plan that they were hatching up. There's some people that weren't into that. You know, I do not know, always cherry pick, but I got me the feeling that this person I don't know always cherry pick. His name's Michael in the real world, he says, and I heard him talking to Brian, who's a person in the real world, calls himself UDM. I like the letter U. The letter U is my favorite letter there. I go A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y and Z. See, that's how you say the U. This is Dad Dash singing Saturday morning. Whoa, Harriet Campbell ain't no fluffer nutter. Harriet Campbell's an oligarch that's running this show from the back stage there, Eli. Harriet Campbell's pulling the strings. Harriet Campbell's the string puller. Harriet Campbell's one of them string pullers. He's watching you. Harriet Campbell's always watching you. I don't understand why the YouTube matters to you. They represent a small portion. Well, see, okay, so truth about Cherry, I'm going to assume that's a genuine question. That's a very good thing. Release your book to the mainstream and then rise above them. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. See, truth about Cherry, you got the opposite of a good strategy. See, I could have released this book to you a year ago. I could have released this book to you a year ago, but I didn't want to. I could have released this book to you 6 months ago. Didn't want to. I could release this book to you today. I do not want to. It ain't ready for you yet. It ain't ready for you yet. You know why? Because you keep changing on me. The world's changing. Why am I going to write a book for where you was 6 months ago? I don't need to write a book for where you were 6 months ago. I already been with you and been teaching you and been finding you over the last 6 months. So, truth about Cherry, you don't understand what's happening here. I cracked your code. I cracked this community because I am one of you. And I found those of you that care about the future. I found those of you that care about that. Thomas Schubeck was watching me. Thomas Schubeck was out there reading my book and watching my videos. So Thomas found me, and I found Thomas, and Thomas found Brian, and Brian found Thomas, and Thomas found me, and Brian found me, and Eli found Thomas and Brian found me, and Thomas and Eli, and Torp. I found Torp, but then Torp found me, and I found Torp, and uh, Torp found Hot Facts, and Hot Facts found the DoorDash Revolution, and them fellers, they're nobody to mess around with. They know what they're talking about. You see. So what we did here, you're making me spill all the beans on my strategy here, Cherry. But I wrote this strategy many, a long time ago. I wrote the strategy before I focused the book. You may not believe it, but it's true. Right? You may not believe that I predicted and scripted all this to happen, but it did. But I did, right? And there are people that know that. Steve Maskini Askin, Dad Dash 13 knows that because I told him on the phone what I was doing a year and a half ago. So let's go back to this. I don't understand why the YouTube matter. So the YouTubes matter because this is the show shop. Okay. So if I'm going to build, let's pretend I have the most evil mind in the history of humanity. Like my name's Tony Shu. Okay. Where's you at? Where's you at? Let's pretend I got the most evil motherfucking mind in the history of humanity that I don't care if I kill human beings. I don't care if people starve to death. I don't care if they're on the streets. I don't care if their children die. I don't care about nothing. Let's just assume I'm the most evil motherfucker on the face of the planet named Tony Shu. Okay. Let's assume that. Okay. My name's Tony Shu. Hello, I'm Tony Shu. It's nice to meet you. I'm the most evil man on the planet. And you say, well, Tony, how are you going to make this happen? I said, well, there's a couple different things. I got me the pandemic. That's excellent. The pandemic. So the pandemic blew the lid off, man. I hit the lottery. Me and my friends hit the lottery because a we figured out ourselves an AI system that'll fleece the entire planet and make us the worldwide monopolizer of the global app slavery market. That's what I'm doing here. My name's Tony Shu. I'm building you a global app slave market. Okay, but here you go. Here you go. First thing you got to know. Hey, Driftwood, nice to see you. Hey, Driftwood, very good to see you. I always appreciate you here. Hey, Twiggy, nice to see you. So if my evil plan, right, my Tony Shu evil plan, which by the way has been vetted with SoftBank and BlackRock, and it's been vetted with the Y Combinator, and it's been vetted with billions of dollars. You know why they call DoorDash one of them unicorns? You know why they call DoorDash a unicorn? Because they call startups that get over $1 billion of investment, a unicorn. Okay, that's what a unicorn is. That's what a unicorn. But you know what don't exist? Unicorns. They're giving away their hand. They're tipping their hand to you. So they're naming things unicorns, and unicorns don't exist. So you do the math. You do the math. What are you going to get when somebody says, "I'm going to sell you a unicorn"? What's your answer? Somebody tell me the fucking answer to I want to sell you a unicorn. I'm going to sit here with a stupid look on my face till somebody tells me an answer. What you're going to say when some dumbass like Dad Dash 13, Steve Askin Maskini, or Pedro DoorDash, yeah, you see, I'm going to bang the fuck out of them unicorns. You show me them unicorns, I'm going to bang them, and they're never going to bring you a unicorn. You're going to be waiting there. You're going to be waiting at the barn. You're going to be waiting at the barn. You're going to go get some dinner and come back, and unicorns ain't never showing up. There are no unicorns. That's a lie. That's an illusion. That's an illusion. Ain't no unicorn. There ain't no, well, rainbows are real, but you can't get to the end. There ain't no pot of gold. You go chasing that pot of gold, you won't get it either. Right? So the physics of our universe come back into play. Oh, thank you. Got you. So Twiggy doesn't agree with me, but respects that I let people say it. Yeah, exactly. Well, so look, this is called an awakening. This is called an awakening of humanity. I don't need you to agree with me. I don't even want you to agree with me. In fact, I wish I didn't agree with me. I wish that I was wrong. I'm not. I'm not. I've said this many times before. You can go back and read my stuff. I wish I was wrong. I so wish I was wrong and we did not have to go through what we're going to go through together, but I'm not. You can come back and check with me like everybody else does. I'll still be here, and I'll tell you, yeah, I know, I told you. Yes, sir, Wild Alaska, I would. I love that subject very much. Wild Alaska asked me if I'd like to do something on criminal justice system and incarceration, all that. Yep, that's a topic very near and dear to my heart. I think we'd have fun with that. Uh, I like the way you talk about it, Wild Alaska, Cody, and so I think that would be very interesting. What evidence do you have of any of what you say? Well, all of it, all of it. You can look my book, you can look at my thing every time. You can look at my Twitter account. Every time I make an assertion to you, I give you the evidence that goes with that. So you can just read that for yourself. I'll give you all the evidence and all the citations. That's one of the things about writing a book that you do. It's just you got to make sure you prove everything you say. Everything I say is fact checked. So in no blocking here. Uh, so in the year and a half that I've been doing this particular project, which is writing the book instead of actually attempting to earn money in the gig economy, as some of us are still doing today, uh, I have not had to make a single correction. Nobody has yet come to me in the thousands, if not millions, of words that I have printed. And see, all of this, most everything that I'm going to give you, not all of it. Most everything that I'm going to give you has already been written and read by hundreds, if not thousands, of people in many, if not 50 countries. Okay. So you don't have to believe me. In fact, I suggest you don't. You should not believe me. You should go read my work for yourself and decide if you can prove me wrong. And if you can prove me wrong, you just go send me one of them emails or send me a message because I have yet to have to post my first correction or my first retraction. I have yet to have to post my first correction or retraction. You be the first. Hey, look, there is nothing that a writer would appreciate you more than fact checking me before I put my book into print. I would appreciate that very much. I would thank you profusely. I think it's clear you get feelings hurt. Nah, nah, no, we ain't worried about feelings here. Dad Dash is a comical joke. Yep, Dad Dash ain't who he says he is, right? Steve Maskini, we're not going to call him Dad Dash anymore. Steve Maskini, Steve Askin, I don't know who that guy is. Steve Askin is some guy. He ain't Truth about Cherry. Truth Cherry. Are you the Truth Cherry? Truth Cherry. Well, I don't know if that's you. No, it ain't you. You little Truth Cherry, you gotta follow me so I can follow you back because I need to know who you are. We're gonna need to chat a little bit. We're gonna need a little chat a little bit and give you some credibility. Okay. Yeah. So okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about Brian. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you all something. And this is full dash closure, if you will. I got one friend in this community that I talk to on a regular basis now. Used to have a whole bunch. Used to have a whole bunch like Steve Johnson, Rideshare Rodeo, Sergio Avedian, Rideshare Guy, uh, Steve Askin, and there's some other ones I can tell you about. Now, you do know that Dad Dash 13 Steve Askin was the one who told me about the glitch, right? He called me on the phone and we talked on that Friday night before I released the video of the beginning of the end of DoorDash. Steve Askin was my source. I don't watch the Always Cherry show. I don't watch the Lounge. I don't have time for that. There's no content on there. But somebody watches it. The eyes have walls. The walls have eyes around these places. The walls have eyes behind the scenes, and we all know what's going on in this cabal. So somebody was watching those things, and Steve Askin, I guess, was that person who was watching or producing or collaborating in those things. I have to assume he was all doing all those things because he's friends with all those people, isn't he? He's showing up on all their private chats and their lounges and their gang stalking networks, and he's talking with his friends Tommy about where Jeff Thomas Black might live and what kind of mental health diseases Jeff Thomas Black might have. And Steve says that his wife says that I might be manic. I might be in some manic phase and not really writing a book and just imagining all of this. Well, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. People in a manic phase of some mental health crisis do not write books for society. That's not. That's not something that people going through mental health crises do. Um, hey, look, I've been poor as shit. I've been arrested. I've been beat up. I've been tortured by cops. I had a lot of different experiences. I've been depressed in my life. Let me just tell you something. When old Jeff Thomas Black is depressed, you don't do no writing. I don't write when I'm depressed. It ain't no fun to write when I'm depressed. I don't like to write about depressing things. So if I was upset with my situation, you can be sure I wouldn't be enjoying writing about it. And I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm enjoying it a lot. I like you guys. So the answer to your question there, a little truth about Cherry, is that this was my plan. My plan was to win over the people that told the truth in the gig economy, the people that had been planted by DoorDash as your community in a sew shop needed to be pushed to the side. And we're seeing that happen now. That's what's happening. If you wonder why these people who used to produce content and tell you a bunch of bullshit like Zach Drives Money Plans and Kim Drives Fast and Harry Campbell and Pedro's Nuts and Dad Dash 13 Steve Askin Maskini, why are they not producing any content anymore? And why is that content not being watched? And why them lounges have nobody in them while Thomas Glitch Dash Schubeck got 7,000, 10,000 people watching his show overnight while I sleep? While I sleep? Are you kidding me, man? Well, truth about Cherry, you got your answer there. I can't do all the work by myself. I need myself some friends, and I got a lot of really good friends now. I got a lot of really good friends. Some of them I even trust. Some of them I even trust more than I trust that Steve Askin Maskini Dad Dash. He goes, Jeff Thomas Black blocked my number. It's like, well, you walking around telling everybody I want to be a cult leader, and my book says something that it don't say, and was written for a reason it weren't written. I mean, come on, man, you're a fool. You're a fool, Steve Askin Maskini, Dad 13. Uh, you're a clown, man. I mean, look, everybody's laughing at you on your own side. Oh, and here's how we know Steve Askin ain't who he says he is. Because anybody with an ego like Pedro DoorDash, like if you're a real person, you can't take that, man. I mean, Dad Dash 13 is a corporate punching bag, man. This guy gets taken up one side by Glitch Dash and down the other, and then he goes on, he lets all his cherries pick beat him up, and then he goes on the lounges and talks to the psychopaths. I mean, come on. If this guy was real, he'd have more mental illness than the whole community put together. Dad Dash 13, Steve Askin Maskini, be the craziest motherfucker of us all. If he was real, he'd be the craziest motherfucker of us all. And he ain't. He ain't the craziest motherfucker of us all. He's just another crazy motherfucker. That's all he is. He's just another crazy motherfucker. He's a corporate shill, is what he is. Like the guy. I mean, Glitch Dash loves to talk about this too. But I was watching one of them few Steve Askin Maskini videos that I could get myself through, and the guy says, probably was from 2 years ago or something. He calls it an overpay. DoorDash just overpaid me. And my ears went up, and the Glitch Dash Thomas Schubeck's ears went up. Everything went, what? You calling hidden tips? You calling fraud? You calling our deception overpay? Okay, okay, Dad Dash 13. Okay, Steve Askin Maskini, Dad Dash Tony Shoe. I mean, come on. Yeah, shoot, Dad Dash would be more fragile than he is because he's showing no human fragility at all, right? I mean, this guy's account has been destroyed. Nobody's watching his videos. Nobody likes him. So nobody's watching his videos. Nobody likes him. And now he's going to be a leader in the community. I mean, right? That's not going to happen, right? That's just impossible. Yeah, it's going to die on its own, man. It's just funny to watch. But look, here's the problem. Truth about Cherry. If you're here, we'll assume you're here honestly asking questions. Why does it matter who Dad Dash is? Because he's running a sew shop on you. He's going around in the Glitch Dash chat. I mean, he was bragging, and Tommy was bragging yesterday. Tommy, the psychopath, drunk drug addict who likes to threaten people on nature trails and talks all about the frauds that are happening. So Dad Dash is on those channels yucking it up because he wants to watch his 25 kids grow up from federal prison. Right? That's why Dad Dash is on all those things, all those nefarious overnight and early morning and whatever non-secret secret meetings. Dad Dash is on there being a psychopath because Dad Dash is playing a role. So it doesn't matter You see, truth about Cherry, you think that the number of YouTube views matter. It does not. The truth matters. So if Brian DoorDash sucks puts out a video that 300 people watch, you see that matters because that 300 people gets multiplied by the Thomas Glitch Dash Schubeck of 7,000 people. And that gets multiplied by the Hot Facts and Robert Reese, and that gets multiplied by the Torp, and that gets multiplied by the Jeff Thomas Black, even though I don't have a very big YouTube channel. And then because I don't want to. And all of those things get multiplied out. So you're getting confused. You're playing you don't want to be as stupid as Pedro DoorDash, Glitchy Pants, Poopy Pants, Depends Santiago. If you're going to be as stupid as Pedro, you're going to lose. Focus on the book and prove them wrong. See, truth about Cherry, I don't need your coaching. You ain't my coach. I've been writing for 55 years without you, truth about Cherry. I'll just publish the book when I want, how I want, where I want, at the price I want, and I'll give it to anybody, ever I want to get it to. And I know that's a big problem. That's a big problem. That's a big problem for everybody. That's a big problem for everybody because I'm going to put this book out in whatever way I want. You don't get to drive what content it has. You don't get to drive what it says. You don't get to drive who I give it to. You don't get to drive my YouTube channel. You don't get to drive nothing. I am outside your circle of control, sir. I always have been, always will be. That's why I'm dangerous. That's why I'm dangerous to the system because I am outside your circle of control. Because I'm an independent person. I'm an independent writer. I don't have no collaborators. Collaborators. Always Cherry may live right down the street from from me here in Palm Beach. Don't mean I hang out with him. Always Cherry and I do not have coffee together. Yes, moist towelette. I will wipe for you. I will wipe that poopy pants. I will wipe that poopy pants as a service to humanity. Pedro Glitch Dash. Yes, we are all dangerous to them. That's right. See, Arizona Prod gets it because Arizona Prod, correct me if I'm wrong, Arizona Prod, you done 3 videos this week? Is it 3? I think it's 3. Everybody put a 3 in the chat for the number of videos Arizona Prod made. Okay. So everybody should just go. No, Steve Askin doesn't control anything. Steve Askin has lost his place in the world, right? I mean, Steve Askin is just begging, blundering, dundering, DoorDash talking head at this point. Ain't no real person behind there. My goodness. Yeah, truth about Cherry. I talk about whatever the fuck I want to. That's the beauty. That is the beauty of freedom. That is the beauty. And my friend Cody up there in Wild Alaska, he just talks whatever about he wants to. And then my friend Gig Apt Exposed, Brian, he just gonna be talking about whatever he wants to. And my friend AZ Prod, he put out 3 videos talking about whatever he wants to. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing when we stop following a cult leader and listening to bullshit? We put out our real content with truth. Or even as we started this broadcast, a lady named Liz this morning, DoorDash Sucks. Brian put out a great, wonderful video about a normal woman, living with a normal man, doing a normal job, paying around 75 to 80 bucks for a couple non-nutritious meals from the Waffle House or whatever it was. That's not a model that can survive. So you're starving and dying. The customers are starving and dying. We're all getting fleeced. We're all getting ripped off. She claimed, and you guys can watch this video for yourself, that her credit card bill came up with even a higher charge than her app. She claimed there were a lot of hidden charges. She claimed there were a lot of different things that are. Well, it's okay. It's okay, Twiggy. You can be who you is. You can be who you is. Ain't no problem. This woman put up the truth, and the truth is damning as hell. Where do you think a corporate AI purveyor with 0 employees, 0 capital investment, raping and pillaging 27 nations at this very point in time, what role do you think they should have in inflating consumer prices by 250% while they're working you as an app slave? For F's sake, man. Let's try and keep this we'll keep this Dad Dash Sunday morning focused, but come on now. That's one of the most horrible things I've ever seen. This is just robbery. And she said, delete the app. Delete the app. This thing's stealing from you. This thing's a lie. This thing's tricking you. It is. It does the same thing to consumers it's doing to you. It's playing them one-on-one. It's a one-on-one game between DoorDash AI and you who wants a hamburger. They're going to play you one-on-one and they're going to beat your pants off for that hamburger. That's what they're going to do to you as a consumer. Okay. So, uh, I think what's happening here, and the reason that this is taking time, Truth About Cherry, the reason this is taking time, the reason that I'm going to produce this book for you in print and electronically, whenever and however I please, is that the story is changing and what you need to know is changing. I don't have to teach you all the things that I was teaching you a year ago because I've been right here teaching them to you. That's why I now have the relationship with Coach Eli or the Gig Apps Exposed or the Stephen Arrow uh, or Arizona Prod or Bigfoot Dash or whatever else. I've been part of this community for a long time. I've been watching these videos. If anybody on earth, let me reiterate this. Yeah, okay, you're not from any side. That's fine, Twiggy. I ain't accusing you of being nothing. You're just fine as you are. You're just perfect as you are. If anybody on earth has watched more YouTube GigTube broadcaster content than I have in the last year and a half, I do not believe you. I do not believe you. I do not believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I do not believe that you have watched more GigTube comment because a lot of times I watch it at 2x speed so I can get by. A lot of times sometimes I watch two videos at once. Okay? Why? Because I'm watching you. I'm watching you. I'm watching you like Harry Campbell. I'm watching everything you do. I'm watching everything you say. I'm watching what you know. I'm watching what you don't know. And if you don't know it, I'm going to log in and I'm going to tell you. And that's why Pedro Poopy Pants Glitch Dash Poopy Pants DoorDash Depend Santiago needed his ass wiped by me. That's why I had to wipe the Pedro's ass over and over and over again till Pedro couldn't. You'd say his ass got so rashy, he wouldn't let me wipe his ass anymore. That's why Pedro's ass had to be wiped so many times because Pedro won't learn. I kept telling Pedro, it's a game, Pedro. You're giving people bad gambling advice. It's a game, Pedro. You're giving people bad gambling advice. It's a game, Pedro. You're giving people bad gambling advice. Pedro don't want the truth, right? This is back to A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. Pedro can't handle the truth. Hey, Dust, however we produced that confusing name. Nice to see you. Love you, Brain and Brian and everything too. I like your brain. You have just fine brain. I mean, I don't think Eli's that fragile. We can talk about my friend Eli for a minute. He ain't gonna mind. I don't think he's that fragile. I mean, look, the guy's trolled every single day. What do you want him to do? What exactly does anybody want another human being to do that's trolled every day? I mean, you can troll me in Truth About Cherry. I ain't never seen you before. I ain't never seen you before, Truth About Cherry. You're on here asking me why I care about Pedro if he's unimportant. I didn't say he was unimportant. I said he's not part of the book. I said he's not part of the book. He's part of the show shop that screwed all of you. He's been part of the glitch gate. People understand. People kept saying, well, the glitch don't matter. It ain't about the glitch. The glitch don't matter. Of course, it's not about the glitch. It's about the fact that the glitch was your human signal to your brain that something ain't right, that you're being ripped off, that the people telling you how to play this game is lying to you because they're not playing the same game you're playing. They're not watching the same show. Anybody see uh, Anybody see the Dashing Trader? Raise your hand if you know that the Dashing Trader has a YouTube account called Professor Blackleg. Professor Blackleg. Well, Professor Blackleg, well, that's the Dashing Trader. You just go look that up for yourself. I'm going to pull that up here. Professor Blackleg. Well, hey, how about that? Professor Blackleg looks exactly like the Dashing Trader, don't he? Looks exactly like the Dashing Trader. Got 321 subscribers and 30 videos. Now, what's the content? What's the content of this channel? What's the content of this channel? Yeah, he's got issues. Exactly, Eli. Too, like nobody that doesn't have issues spends their time doing this stuff. Nobody that's so what do we got here? We got the Dashing Trader here calling himself Professor Blackleg, which is a fine name. It's a fine name, but it ain't Dashing Trader. And so why is Dashing Trader giving you one message on Dashing Trader, and then he's giving you another account. Well, he ain't giving it to you. He's giving a different account to somebody else. And this different account, if you will, has contents like how to remove a green screen in DaVinci Resolve 18. Well, that's a mighty interesting. There we go. I'd say that's a mighty interesting name, subject matter, wouldn't you? It's almost like maybe there's a side industry of GigTube creators here that don't really flow with the information of the DoorDash. There you go. There you go. Here's Professor Blackleg for you. Everybody go over there. Everybody go over there. Everybody go over there, and you subscribe to that Professor Blackleg, and you just look at the kind of content that Professor Blackleg is producing for somebody, not you. Producing for somebody that's not you. Okay. And so what was going on in this con gig that Steve Johnson and the Pedro Glitchy Pants Poopy Pants Santiago, what was going on with this con glitch in with lobbyists and politicians in the fancy hotel in the downtown Denver for some money? What was going on? I used to live down there. Dad Dash lived all over the place. Dad Dash been all over the place. So I used to live in the downtown Denver, you see. I did indeed. I know these places. And so, Steve Johnson of the Hide Share Hodeo and the Pedro Glitchy Pants DoorDash Poopy Pants Depend Santiago, well, they held themselves a con glitch. Now, the people that showed up at the con glitch were pretty interesting. Grubhub base pay is now $1. We're going to talk about that in a minute, my friend. I think that's how you pronounce it. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But see, this con glitch, this was a meeting of a different kind. See, this had lobbyist money. This had Steve Johnson money. This had podcasting money. See, all these guys got themselves a sidelight. Steve Johnson pretends he's your friendly purveyor of GigTube lies and spies. Steve Johnson of the Hide Share Hodeo, he plays the nefarious character of ruining people's lives in the background. But see, during his other day job, he likes to pretend that he's a coach for podcasters. And he goes on and says, well, I'm a really nice guy. My name's Steve. Here's how you create a podcast. Just like the dashing trader over here, Professor Blackleg's on there going, well, I'm a really nice guy. Here's how you edit out the green screen so you can fool you some of them app slaves. Here's how you do it. Okay, you picking up on this, folks? Put a 2 in the chat if you're not as stupid as you was yesterday. I'm not as stupid as I was yesterday. I'm gonna put a 2 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat if yesterday you was more stupid than today. I put myself a 2. I am less stupid than today. Yes, sir. Charging you to work someday. I've already predicted that. Dad Dash is ahead of you. Dad Dash is already ahead of you. Do you know I already predicted that? See, you don't know. You don't know Mr. Wild Cherry, who is Wild Cherry Pick stuff. You go over there. See, Jeff Thomas Black got himself a pretty big account on the Twitter, read by academics and journalists and writers and stuff around the world. No, politicians ain't going to help us. Truth about Cherry, you got it wrong. Politicians can't help us. Glitch Dash Thomas Schubeck explains that very well. Politicians sold you out, son. They already know about this. They already know this truth that we're talking here. The app slaves don't know the truth. That's why we're talking to the app slaves, because we the app slaves. The politicians and the oligarchs already know the truth. They already know we've been sold out to artificial intelligence and that they plan us all dying while they survive the apocalypse, which they do, right? They think they're going to live longer than you and me, which, they got a better New Zealand bunker than you and me, but let's not place those bets yet, shall we? Let's just save those bets a little bit. Bought and paid for. They are all bought and paid for. All of them. Look, the reason the gig economy is foisted upon you is that your own government sold you out. The governments of the world sold you out, right? 27 nations have allowed DoorDash, this vampire, into your house. And this vampire is going to suck all your blood while you're sleeping. You're going to die, and so are your kids. I mean, I could lie to you. I could try and make it more palatable, but I can't. I mean, it won't do any good. There are people that want you dead. Tony Shu's one of them. Stanley Tang, Andy Fang. Stanley Tang, I think it's the Stanley Tang That's the degenerate gambler that's just out gambling more money in about 2 minutes than you'll ever see in 25 lifetimes. That's what they're doing with all this money that you gave them for their houses in Florida. Yeah, it's a mobile casino, except you're forced to go in it, right? You think you're going to work and they're handing you a ticket to a slot machine. You're just playing the one-armed bandit. Yeah, it's like Interview with a Vampire, isn't it? It's just Lestat walking around all day looking for. I read that book. I read that. I only read one of the Anne Rice books, but I did read that first one. I read the first one, Interview with a Vampire. Very good book. Very good book. Being undead's hard to do. We could ask me always Cherry. I mean, always Cherry. I wish you were in the chat, sir. I wish you'd come in the chat and say hi to me like I come say hi to me. Always Cherry. Is it hard being undead? Is it hard being a vampire? When somebody invites you in the house and then they want you to leave, but you don't have to leave because you're a vampire and you can't see yourself in the mirror and you don't have to go. Sinful Toaster, you bastard, you microwave PTSD perpetrating bastard. I do love you. I do love you, Sinful Toaster. Werewolves of London. That's right. American Werewolf in London. That was another good show. Sounds like a little bit more painful to transfer into a werewolf, though. I think all that contortions in the body and the fingers growing. That was some nasty stuff, man. That was some good special effects back in the days. If you have not seen American Werewolf in London and you do like having your pants scared off, you can go watch that movie. You go watch that movie. And let's see what's another one. Oh, one of the horrors of the week. You see the Robert De Niro, the taxi driver, the man who used to allegedly stand up for normal people. Oh, he's doing him a commercial for Uber now as the taxi driver. Fuck that motherfucker. He's selling you out too. He's selling his soul out too. You got the Robert De Niro now joining the Uber mob. He's a real mobster now. Congratulations, Mr. Robert De Niro. You have sold out humanity, you piece of shit. Fuck you, Robert De Niro. I am still your fan, but I do not like you anymore. Something doesn't make sense. Version of Dad Dash sounds like both are worthless to the community. Yeah, of course they're worthless. Of course they're worthless. Look, but Dad Dash isn't who he says he is, man. You're missing the truth about Cherry. You coming in halfway through the story and you're missing the part about the fiction. Nobody said this was a true story. This is a made-up story. This is a fictional story from people that was mixed in with real life. So they want you as confused as you are. They want you to be exactly as confused as you are. That's why Pedro DoorDash Bleach Pants Poopy Pants Santiago is not yet producing new content yet because there's nothing to produce. The illusion has been broken, and once you break that illusion, it's not magic anymore, right? So the illusion is gone, and so now Pedro is going to search for what we call that. We got the October 1st coming is Pedro. Somebody remind me what we got that special day. Pedro. Is it Pedro Day? What are we going to call that? I liked it so much. We'll find that out. Pedro. Steve asking for trouble. Yeah, we're going to call it Pedro Day. Anyway, October 1st is going to be the Pedro. It's going to Pedro Fest. Yes, it's a Pedro Fest. Pedro Glitch Fest. Pedro Fest 2023. Thank you, Stephen Arrow. You are a fine auto mechanic and a fine person. We hope that Glitch Dash Thomas Schubeck gets that car back on the road so he can teach us some more things on a mobile situation. So yeah, let's we're going to celebrate that Pedro Fest. Now, somebody said something about the Grubhub being down to the $1. Okay, so who do we got in the? Let's talk about those competitors, because I focus on the book. Well, see, truth about Cherry, you getting yourself confused. Even if waiting means more dashes get hurt. No, sir. There's 4 chapters up of the book right now today. You can go log yourself right into Substack for free, and you can listen to 20 podcasts. You can go on my YouTube channel, and you can go on other YouTube channels and watch me speak about 20 times more. And then you can read 4 chapters of the book, and you can listen to the first 3 on audiobook, all for free there, Truth About Cherry. So I've given you, and I told you this in the book too, which again, if you read the book or you listen to the book, you're going to learn these things that you're asking about, truth about cherry. And so I'm here to help you learn, and I'm glad you're asking these questions. So when you read the book, when you look at the book, you're going to see that I told you why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I don't want to wait for you to wake up until after I release the book. I wanted you to start waking up as soon as I was waking up. As soon as I have good information to give you, I give it to you. And so there's a book that's going to come out at the end that's going to be a compendium of all those things. It's also going to follow this interesting story about breaking these people down and figuring out who they really are as they shoot themselves in the testiculars under the table, right? All the criminals are shooting themselves in the testiculars under the table. Cherries, the shooting the Pedro in the big basketball testiculars, and Pedro shooting the UDM, and the UDM's shooting the Welte, and the Welte is shooting who else? Who's the Welte shooting? Welte's shooting saying it like it was. Dino's lost his noodle. You got the Necros and the Tommies and the other vampiric criminals out there talking about people's basements and kids and stuff. You got a nutty situation here. So truth about Cherry, community organizing skills. Well, truth about Cherry, that's another thing that you could read in the book, and it's nice you're here asking those questions because it's I can give you a little bit of an idea why what this book's for. Well, doing TED talks. Yeah, don't want to. Don't want to. I don't want to be your political leader. Don't want to be your TED talker. I'm a writer. I like to stay home. You see where I'm sitting out here? Do I look like I'm sitting in front of a green screen to you? Important Twitter's people. You got a lot of questions here, truth about Cherry. You see there, you see where I'm a sitting for you? You hear the raindrops? It's raining. Okay, I ain't sitting in the rain. I got my head covered. But I'm here to tell you the truth every day. Now, there's a book coming too. You're going to like that book. It's going to be a good book. You're going to enjoy that book. You can even read the first few chapters of that book. You can listen to the first few chapters of that book while you're driving around today. Yes, I don't really care the truth about Cherry. You're a funny one. Someday we'll find out who you really are. Truth about Cherry. You probably Steve Johnson, Hyde Shirahodio is my guess. That'd be about right for you. Steve Johnson, Hyde Shirahodio, maybe Dad Dash Steve Askin 13. Steve Askin 13. Steve Askin 13. Are you Steve Askin 13? Steve. Steve Askin 13. Okay. I ain't gonna block you, truth about Cherry, because I don't care, but I ain't gonna answer any more of your questions. You're gonna have to pose them later. So I told you the reason that I'm doing this in real time, the reason I'm releasing this book for you in real time while I'm preparing to release the printed and digital copies for you and the audio book for you, all either free of charge or at a very reasonable price for whoever needs that. Well, the reason I'm doing that is that's going to be kind of a resource, and it's going to be a compendium of what we've all learned in the last year. See, I learn more every day. Truth about Cherry. I learned the truth about Cherry one day. I learned the truth about Dad Dash 13 one day. I learned the Dad Dash. I learned the truth about saying it like it was one day. I'm learning who all the compromised, violent individuals are. You don't think that we need to know who the compromised, violent individuals are that are scamming and so shopping this community before we put this stuff straight? Of course we do. That's why we got the DoorDash police. Brian, DoorDash sucks is also the DoorDash police, and he woo. You got the DoorDash police coming for you, son. You got the DoorDash police coming for you, son. You're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to enjoy it, whoever you are. Okay, so let's talk about that Grubhub. Let's talk about that Grubhub. So when you got yourself a market, this is one of those things that's important in the book that people don't normally understand. So if you got yourself, let's say you got yourself a market and you got no competition. Is no competition a good thing or a bad thing? What do you think? Somebody tell me in the chat. Say, just put good or bad in the chat if you think having no competition is good or bad. I'm going to teach you something. Boom, boom. Yes, Stephen Arrow. Stephen Arrow is correct. It is bad. If there is no market, that means, and you have no competition. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. Let's just rewind that. If there is no competition, that means there is no market. Because if there was a market, you'd have yourself some competition, wouldn't you? If people like tacos, somebody else is going to open a taco stand. And if people like both them taco stands, somebody else is going to open another taco stand. Now you open yourself a Pedro, DoorDash, Glitch Pants, Poopy Pants, Santiago dog shit stand. Nobody's going to be buying your Pedro, Glitch Pants, Poopy Pants, DoorDash, Santiago dog shit. Nobody wants your dog shit. Nobody wants the Steve Askin 13 dog shit. You see? So you ain't going to have no competition, but you also don't have no market. You got no market. Nobody wants your dog shit. Now you got yourself a good market. You're going to get yourself some competition. Now let's say here you're going to move yourself into someplace in Sweden. Okay. Okay. Now I've been to Sweden, and it's funny. Sweden's got yourselves the fast food restaurants that sell you tacos and pizza and hot dogs. They're selling you American food, all in one lump. It's American food. You're gonna like it. You stop in here for yourself for some American food, and it's multiple different cultures put together, and maybe a Starbucks thrown in there too. So, but let's imagine you go somewhere where they don't really know the taco business. Okay, they don't really know. And there was a time when America didn't know the taco business. So let's say you're a Chipotle, right? You're a Chipoodle. You want to move in. You want to be a Chipoodle. Okay. So you're going to move in there as a Chipoodle, and you need a whole bunch of people like you some Mexican food. Isn't it going to help you if maybe there's a few taco stands around? Help train people that Mexican food don't taste like dog shit. Yeah, it will. It's going to help you. It's going to help you. People are going to go, I like them tacos. I like that chorizo. I didn't know what chorizo is, but I like that chorizo. Them jalapenos ain't as bad as I thought they was. Them jalapenos is pretty tasty. Right? Okay. So you're creating yourself a market. That's right. You're creating yourself a Chipoodle market. Now, Chipoodle's got a lot of support. Chipoodle might be a franchise, or Chipoodle sold a national license, like McDonald's sells a national license to Japan. In Japan, there's a McDonald's Japan. Okay, McDonald's Japan ain't McDonald's US. McDonald's Japan is McDonald's Japan. If they want to sell themselves a sushi burger, they're going to sell themselves a sushi burger because it's McDonald's Japan. It's called a federated model. FEDERATED. 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 Old Dad Dash has been to McDonald's world headquarters in Chicago. You believe that? It's true. It's true. I've been inside the building of McDonald's world headquarters, where you got to check yourself in with security and driver's licenses and all those things. Yes, you do. They got some mighty nice art in that building. Yes, they do. They got some mighty nice boardrooms in that building. They do. Yeah, that's a lot of. They got their test restaurant. Do you know that the McDonald's world headquarters is right next door to the test uh, restaurant that all these corporate employees can go through and get all these test things, and they deliver, of course, tons of the McDonald's to the corporate office right next door there. And if you come for a meeting, you can get yourself some free McDonald's. Imagine that. Go to McDonald's world headquarters, get yourself some free McDonald's for lunch, because rich people need free McDonald's. That's right. When you're making six figures, you got to get yourself some free McDonald's, or else, what are you going to be doing? What are you going to eat? What are you going to eat if McDonald's ain't free? Now, see, you paying $10, $15 for that Happy Meal, and they're getting it for free. They don't even want the Happy Meal, and they're getting it for free. Yeah, it's sinister as fuck. It's all sinister as fuck. And that's why I was inside there, and that's why they don't like me, because I've been inside. Where else I've been inside? I've been inside Nike. I've been inside the world headquarters of Nike. Where else I've been inside? I've been inside the world headquarters of Nokia in Finland. You see, I'm watching you. Dad Dash is a watching you. I've been a watching you. I'm no sinister person, but I've seen a few things. I've seen a few things. Now, what was the point of these corporate offices? Well, yeah, that's right. We were going to talk about monopolies. Yes, Soylent Green. Soylent Green. They're going to give you your latest Soylent Green burrito. So, the Chipoodle moving to a new country that don't know tacos needs themselves some competition. So if I was a smart Chipoodle, let's say I was a smart Chipoodle, a real smart Chipoodle, and I'm going to move me into Jeffistan. I'm going to move me into the Jeffistan country that ain't got no Chipoodles and ain't got no Mexican food. Well, I might open me a taco smut. I might open me a taco smut down the street, and I'll open me a burrito bag right down the other street. And I'll sell me a few taco smuts, and I'll sell me a few burrito bags. and I'm going to habituate the community to loving the Mexican food. Now, I might own those other two Mexican foods. Don't really matter, does it? Because as we build this up, the company is going to be doing the advertising. It's going to have the marketing. It's going to have in multiple locations all over the city. Well, that's going to be called Chipotle. That's going to be Jeff Thomas Black's Chipotle in Jeffistan. So that's right. Yeah, DoorDash is nothing but a server farm. That's right. DoorDash don't exist. Functionally, DoorDash don't exist. So we got to build a market. Okay. So now, how does this apply to the gig economy? This applies to the gig economy because if DoorDash, which has 65% allegedly, I mean, remember, we get these numbers from liars, and so when you're believing the numbers from the liars, you might want to just double check. If we're going to believe these numbers from the liars, right? DoorDash has 65% of the national and global market share. Now that's different than the money share too, right? Because money and you could have 50% of the market and be making 60% of the money, or you could have 50% of the market and be making 10% of the money, right? So this is all complex stuff, and they know that, right? They know that while they're fleecing you. They know they got about a million ways to Sunday to work on accounting that you ain't going to understand, and they're never going to tell you. So the end of this story is that DoorDash's 65% of market share worldwide and locally is propped up by fake competitors of Grubhub, Uber Eats, ShitHub, local, Flocal, whatever. Everything that's going on that is associated with the gig economy, including rideshare, by the way, which is in on this cabal as well in a different way. Everything that's part of this gig economy is part of the same cabal to convince you that you and your children and your grandchildren are all going to be app slaves. That's what this is based upon. And so if DoorDash don't have the air cover from Grubhub and Uber and Lyft and Uber Eats and whatever other bullshit applications are out there sucking on the hind tit, well, if they don't have that, they don't have a market, do they? And then all the regulators can focus on the DoorDash. And if all the regulators are focused on the DoorDash, they're just not going to be able to excuse all these improprieties and inconsistencies and all these frauds and illegal activities, right? Now, if it's all confused by an entire corporate cabal that lobbies together of Lyft and Uber Eats and Grubhub and the rideshare guy and Pedro Glitch Dash Poopy Pants Santiago. We built an entire ecosystem, you see. We built an entire ecosystem for our DoorDash scam. DoorDash, make no mistake about it. I ain't even told most people this, right? I ain't told most people this because I've learned this myself watching the Glitchgate go by last couple weeks. It's been real educational. Dad Dash is learning a lot, Cherry. Truth about Cherry. Dad Dash been learning every day. Dad Dash cannot hardly sleep at night for all the learning going on. Okay. Yeah, gig apps and people are waking up. Consumers are waking up. Drivers are waking up. Now that's been the project. Why do I want to sell a book? Why do I want to even attempt to give for free or sell a book at any price to people that ain't awake yet? They ain't gonna read it. So what you're asking Dad Dash to do there, Truth About Cherry, is just to be about as stupid as if DoorDash was in a market with no competitors. You think Dad Dash wants to be isolated in a corner? You think Jeff Thomas Black wanted to go write a book in a cabin in the woods and then produce it to the world as a great work of art that nobody reads? What would be the point of that? What would be the point of that? There would be no point. You think I've been making 40 broadcasting opportunities and interviews on all the different channels that you know and watch, and making my own podcasts that are available on Apple and Spotify and Google and you name it, all the podcast channel, the Full Dash Closure audiobook and podcast, and I'd have a Substack and I'd have an account and I'd have you think I'd be doing all this work to not, because I didn't want people to see a book eventually? No, I'm preparing you for the book, son or daughter. I am preparing you to take in this information. I'm learning what you know. I'm learning what you don't know. I'm learning what Pedro DoorDash Glitch Pants Poopy Pants Santiago knows. I'm learning what Pedro don't know. Remember, I told you when I started this book, I didn't know which of the presenters to you on the gig tubers was lying to you and which one was telling you the truth from their soul, even if they was right or wrong, right? You're allowed to be wrong. Being wrong ain't a crime. Fraud's a crime. Lying to you may or may not be a crime, depending upon what's involved. But it's not a crime to be wrong. There's plenty of people just honestly wrong. Brian will tell you, like, I was in the wheelhouse. I didn't get 100%. Man, I was in the wheelhouse. I was 75% right. And yeah, that's about true. There's many times over the last year and a half, I've been about 75% about right. But see, I keep learning because I don't want to publish something for you that ain't 100% right. I do not want to publish anything for you that's not 100% right. So I fact check myself. People fact check me. I let my friends read this. I let my enemies read this, apparently. Okay. Anybody that wants can read this material. I ain't never had a retraction yet. You go ahead and be my first. You go ahead and tell me where I'm wrong and you be my first retraction because I don't want to print something that's wrong. I don't want to print any wrong information. That's not my game. My entire life has been about telling you the truth, whether I be doing civil disobedience in the jails or whether I be publicly speaking or whether I be in the corporate world. Yeah, my life's about the truth. So I don't get along so terribly well with people that don't want the truth. They don't like me very much. And maybe truth about Cherry, you don't like me, and I don't care, right? It would make no difference to me, truth about Cherry. If you liked me, if you didn't like me, maybe we were friends before and you don't like me now. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, man. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, man. I don't even know who you are. Why would I care if you like me? Okay. As far as I know, you could have evil intentions for the entire planet. You could be a real life vampire. How would I know? I would not know. So I ain't gonna worry about it. Right? I put the truth out there for people to consume as they see fit or not consume. Remember, I ain't trying to coerce you. I'm giving you the truth. You choose to go on and be an app slave in the gig economy. I ain't going to stop you. But I want you to have informed consent. I want you to know how the game is played. So if you go play the game, then you know what game you're playing, right? And that's what the glitch is about. Why did the glitch matter is that now you know the game you're playing. If you choose to play the rigged gig app gambling game called DoorDash that is fleecing the world and setting the world up for app slavery as the centerpiece of the gig economy. Because remember, rideshare is bullshit. Rideshare, Lyft, rideshare, Uber, it's all just a cab, right? People been driving other people around as long as there's been things to drive people. And you can take a rickshaw, right? So Uber and Lyft are financial machinations of a taxi cab. Can we agree on that? Uber and Lyft are just a taxi cab, okay? There's no difference. There's no difference. Somebody's going to pick you up where you are and take you where you're going. There's no difference. You don't care who's paying them or what's doing. It doesn't make any difference to you. DoorDash is a different animal. First of all, DoorDash don't exist. First of all, Dashers don't exist. DoorDash is a server farm that's based on the absolute ironclad fact that it does not even know or recognize the labor that does the functional work of distribution in the world. There is a complete and total separation of the technology in the server farm and the people building this technology in the server farm to fleece you and your grandchildren and enslave you for the rest of human time, right? That's all built in. That's all built into it. So everybody knows what's happening here. There's nobody working at DoorDash, that evil empire, and believe me, they are scared. The people that are working inside DoorDash Corporation are scared. I have had them contact me anonymously, and I will never, ever, ever in the history of my life, under any conditions, release who has contacted me from inside those walls. But I've been contacted from inside those walls, and they're pretty scared. And when I say scared, I ain't talking about scared that they might not get another job. They're scared of that, but they're also scared of what might happen to them, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, I wish Tony Hsiu would contact me. That would be great. I mean, look, you will notice. You can go to my LinkedIn account. You will notice all of the people because I'm a public guy. I was a corporate executive and stuff. In fact, I think you can see me a picture. You can see a picture of me standing outside the Chicago World headquarters on my LinkedIn. If you are so moved to do so. I was younger and handsomer then. So you can get yourself on my LinkedIn and you can see that I am connected as a connection to many executives around the world, thousands, including many, many, many in DoorDash, including many, many, many that I went to school with or that our fellow alumni of the Duke University Fuqua School of Business with one of the top 10 business schools on the planet. Okay, Dad Dash been around for a while. Jeff Thomas Black been around for a while. So yeah, man, I got connections, but believe me, man, if anybody from a DoorDash executive ever wanted to talk to me in some way that was not confidential source, I would be more than happy to have that conversation. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation about who Steve Askin is on the Hot Facts with Robert Reese. Now that ain't never going to happen because Steve Askin is Maschini is a corporate operator and a fraud, right? But um, but that's just the thing. So okay, so we're going to go back. So what about Grubhub paying a buck? Well, they're all set in the same market, right? You notice how these are all moving together? I mean, surely you have noticed, right, that Uber Eats doesn't start paying more when DoorDash pays less, and that Grubhub ain't paying more while DoorDash is paying less, right? They're all moving down together. That's why Lyft and Uber are moving down together. All these things are moving together. Well, you could call that a market or you could call that collusion. Don't really matter. It's a small market. They all link together. They all have the same ownership, right? BlackRock, SoftBank, the investors. SoftBank was a huge investor and is a huge investor in Uber. SoftBank's a huge investor in getting DoorDash started and still is. BlackRock, DoorDash, Uber. Look, they're owned by the same people. Robert Reese and I were talking about this last week. You ever gone to the horse races? If two of the horses in the race or three of the horses in the race are all owned by the same owner, they're on the same ticket. You can't bet you can't bet, and an owner can't bet his two horses against each other because that'd be a rigged race, wouldn't it? I just have one of my riders pull back on the reins and the other one go faster, and I'd be the winner. So you can't do that. Any horses that are owned together and that could collaborate together in a race are going to be on the same ticket. That's the way it works. So this is no different in the corporate world, right? These people have the same interest, and their interests are the opposite of human interests. Their interests are AI and exploitation until the end of time. Their interests are drive you into the singularity where you no longer know what's real and what's fake. Their interests are to destroy employment, to destroy legitimate business, to destroy your local economy. You think your local economy can live off this business model that we think we might like, this gig economy? No, sir. Every single local business is going to go out of business because even if they can compete against McDonald's, McDonald's is paying half the price of commission that they are. So McDonald's is buying their goods at a lower price, selling them at a higher price, and then your local economy is buying them at the higher price and selling them at a lower price. Like this is it's all over but the shouting, right? The local economy is and has been losing and will lose. It will always lose, just like you will always lose. The gig economy is a game in which humans lose. That's what it is. Artificial intelligence is a system that's built to exploit humanity. That's what it is. Could you build artificial intelligence to do something else besides exploit humanity? Yeah, it's possible, but you'd have to have corporate funds or government funds that funded that building. I mean, so who is the person that made themselves a billionaire that has your core interests at heart and wants to build you a human-centric artificial intelligence system? I don't think that person exists. I don't think that person exists at all. So all of the people, whether it be Tony Hsu or whether it be Jeff Bezos or whether it be Mark Zuckerberg or whether it be SoftBank owned by the Japanese billionaire or whether it be Saudi Arabian royalty or BlackRock, all of them, every single one of them is investing in AI. Sam Altman, right? OpenAI. Every single one of those people is a billionaire investing in AI to exploit you. I mean, what the hell I just do? I'm here. If you can't see me, I'm here. Let's see here. Okay, here I am. You see me? What'd I do? I somehow I pulled a Robert Reese, and I'm showing you my stream analytics. I hope I have a healthy stream. Can you guys see my healthy stream? Raise your hand if you can see my healthy stream. Well, so here's the part. Here's the fact. Who can see me okay? I think you don't take your arguments about your smart friends because they blah blah blah. Okay, I am not interested in you. Yeah, real competitive markets, right? Well, this is the opposite of a real competitive market. This is a rigged market. This is a wholly rigged market. Let's see here. I'm fixing this. Don't give up on me. Don't give up on me. Visibility. What are we doing? Okay. I think I got it. I think I got it. Oh no. There we go. Holy moly. Okay. All right. All right. I just discombobulated myself. That's fine. I don't normally use this software. You are a joke and a hypocrite. Don't even start the religion stuff. Okay. Well, anyway, um, see, this is the thing, though. We don't have to worry about what people's different beliefs are because we can all believe what we want to believe, and say that even while we believe what we want to believe, there is real things happening here. DoorDash is a real AI system. DoorDash Corporation is a real, very significantly evil and destructive corporation that is driving app slavery and economic collapse at the local level. And so that's what we need to know. We don't have to agree on our religion. We don't have to agree on. I know what you're saying, Twiggy. We don't have to agree on religion. We don't have to agree on Pedro DoorDash Poopy Pan Santiago. If you want to keep watching Pedro DoorDash Poopy Pan Santiago, or you ever want to start watching the Dad Dash 13 Steve Askin, you just go ahead and do that. But you're not going to be impressed now that you know you're not going to be very impressed now that you know the truth. You're going to see they're spinning bullshit to you, which is why they're not producing any content for you. They don't know what to say anymore. They don't know what to say anymore. They got no story. They got no story beyond the most basic of lies, which was that the statistics in a rigged game application meant something to you. And no, they did not. They never have and they never will. None of them statistics is real. None of the interface is real. None of the market's real. You put that in there, they're buying Happy Meals. Think about it this way. Think about it as arbitrage. You know what arbitrage is? That's buying something over here and selling it over here for a higher price. So I'm buying it over here and I'm selling it over here. Now, if I sell it over here, you didn't buy it over there. You didn't buy it over there. I bought it over here. You ain't buying it. This is the McDonald's. You ain't buying it from McDonald's. You're buying it from me right here. See this here? This is DoorDash. Whoop. I dropped DoorDash. That's DoorDash. DoorDash is buying this Happy Meal from this McDonald's right here. Okay? DoorDash is buying this Happy Meal. Now, DoorDash's AI is chewing this up because you got millions and millions of phones out there. Some of these gig tubers, some of these gig rubers like Steve Johnson, the rideshare Hodio, and Pedro DoorDash Glitchy Pants Poopy Pants Santiago, and Zach Drives Money Plans and all that. See, they think, or they want to tell you that you're picking something up here and you're taking over here. That's not true. That's not true. DoorDash bought themselves 20 million Happy Meals on a bulk pricing. Okay. Now they're chewing that up. All these guys got phone, they're chewing that up. You got your Happy Meal order sitting in DoorDash. It's all being chewed up. It's going left, it's going right, it's going up, going down, it's going over here, going over there, going there. It's got all different kinds of prices, everything. Now, after a while, this DoorDash chews this up and they go, well, we're going to sell this Happy Meal to this rube over here. We're going to sell this to this nice lady over here. And we're going to sell this Happy Meal for $15. You see, we bought it for like $2.10. We bought it for the $2.10. We're going to sell this Happy Meal for $15. Now, this customer is going to go look at the Happy Meal price at the McDonald's. They're going to see, well, this Happy Meal at McDonald's was $8, and they're going to think, well, I'm paying the difference between $8 and the $15 of the DoorDash. But that's not true. That's not true. They're paying the difference. That's just the arbitrage. That's just the arbitrage. They're paying the difference between what DoorDash bought that at, which is $2.50, and the $15, right? That's how DoorDash is stealing from you in your economy. It's real simple. It's real simple. It's called arbitrage. But so you're thinking about the real world. You're thinking about a dispatch system like a cab. You're thinking, I'm sitting at the hospital. I need to go home. So I'm going to call me a cab. I'm going to get in the cab. I'm going to wave to the driver. He don't smell good. The driver don't smell good. I'm going to wave to him anyway. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to get out and I'm going to give a guy a tip and I'm going to smile and say, have a nice day. I'm glad you're an Uber driver. Okay. Now, see, that's a real world scenario. You can't fake that in the gig economy. You can't arbitrage a driver. I can't take a driver, unless that thing's a robot or something. I can't take that driver and make him not real. I can't make your experience with him not real. But see, in the DoorDash, nothing is real. Nothing is real. That Happy Meal ain't a real Happy Meal. That's an arbitraged Happy Meal. An arbitraged Happy Meal. Yes, My Appealing Life, my friend. I like you. You know, My Appealing Life. I started watching you when you came on here, just putting in the first few videos. Nice to see you, sir. So this is interesting, isn't it? It is interesting, isn't it? Because you, excuse me, Dad's going to choke on his own spit. My mouth's watering thinking about all them disgusting Happy Meals. So you guys think this is a dispatch system where an order goes in for a Happy Meal, you pick up the Happy Meal and you take it to Sally. That ain't it. It's not a dispatch system. There are Happy Meals in the system that are going to be doled out to you. You're going to get some Happy Meals today. And them Happy Meals been bought on arbitrage. And you're going to be the sucker. You're going to be the sucker that don't exist. You're going to be the ghost. You're going to be the gig app slave, the app slave that takes this arbitraged Happy Meal out to Sally and sells it to her for $15 on behalf of your corporate master. See, so we're all doing evil in the world. We don't even mean to do the evil in the world. Funny thing, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this. When I first started doing DoorDash, this is in July of 2020. So that's well over 3 years now, right? When I first started doing DoorDash, I told my friends I was a drug dealer. I was out selling the drugs at Happy Meals. I was getting people the Happy Meal fix during their pandemic when they couldn't leave the house. I was a drug dealer. Might as well have been. Ain't no difference. No difference. You working for the evilest of the evil. And you think the cartels are bad killing people? These guys want to kill the world. These guys want to kill the entire world. They want to destroy employment so that your kids get up every morning for the rest of their life in a cold sweat and they go, holy shit, I'm in the gig economy. How am I going to keep a roof over my house today over my head today before I go homeless? Oh shit, my car just blew up. How am I going to have a car to go get my kids groceries anymore? My car just blew up from doing the DoorDash. This is some evil shit. This is some evil shit. It don't get no more evil. You arbitraging food? Remember when there used to be some kind of thing called price gouging? And so if there was a drought and you were out there selling water for $5 a jug, you were a scumbag that was going to get arrested? Didn't that happen during Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans? Weren't people out there just doing a little bit of arbitrage? A little bit of arbitrage can also be called a little bit of price gouging, right? This is what DoorDash is doing to your world, to your entire world, to the world that your children live in. You think there's a bias toward DoorDash now? You guys all looking at me and going, well, Jeff, you know, DoorDash is already here and it ain't going anywhere. Well, you're wrong. You're wrong. Unless you want yourself dead and your kids enslaved to app slavery, DoorDash is going to go somewhere. DoorDash is going to go plenty of places, and it's going to be like straight into hell because this ain't legitimate, man. This ain't survivable. This ain't survivable. DoorDash will put every single local retailer on the planet out of business before they're done, and have you all enslaved to their gig economy. And remember, it's not just the gig economy. This is private software. This is privately deployed software. So let's just say the king of Jeffistan is an evil motherfucker, right? Let's say the king of Jeffistan is an evil motherfucker named Steve Askin. So Steve Askin 13 is the king of Jeffistan. And Steve Askin 13 says, I need me to build some more of them pyramids for them pyramid schemes. I need me to build some more pyramids for them pyramid schemes. Okay. Well, how am I going to get people to build me some more pyramids for them pyramid schemes? Well, I got to find me a whole bunch of new suckers. I got to find me a whole bunch of new suckers because the experienced people that got burnt out, ruined their cars, and ended up on the streets, well, I can't use them anymore. I use them up. I use them up just like the expendable fuel that and the expendable cars that they use themselves. I use them up. So I got to find myself some new slaves. Where am I going to go? I'm going to go wherever I got to go. I'm going to go to the streets. I'm going to go to immigrants. I'm going to go to people that don't have a legal right to work in this country, and I can get to work illegally for me off the books, and they'll never report me to law enforcement because if they do, they're going to get themselves deported, decapitated. Okay, so what you got here is you got everybody living in fear, just like you guys been living in fear. Because if you like me ever have paid your bills with the gamblified, rigged gig apps of the gig economy scam, you know for a fact that they can decapitate you anytime they want for any reason or no reason. And if they decapitate you at the wrong time, maybe you ain't even going to get paid for what you done. Right? So like Uber Lyft Phoenix. He ain't from Phoenix that I know of. I think he rises like the Phoenix. Or maybe he's from the Phoenix too. I don't know. Anyway, Uber Lyft Phoenix. The guy's name, I can't remember the guy's name. Aaron, I think. Anyway, Uber Lyft Phoenix. His story was very, very well told, even by the Steve Johnson rideshare Hodios and the Pedro DoorDash Glitchy Pants Poopy Pants Santiagos of the world, or the rideshare rodeos like the Harry Campbells of the world. Right? This guy's story was told because he got deactivated. He got decapitated for allegedly reporting a restaurant closed. Well, yeah, but if you study the DoorDash algorithms and the DoorDash's own engineering site, you'd see that DoorDash has a methodology in their AI that sends real life drivers like you and me to close restaurants to make sure that they're actually as closed as the last guy said they was. Now, that's not a real order. I can't go to a closed Denny's in Bloomington, Indiana, like I did and pick me up any food. I'm going to get there and I'm going to get out of my car and walk up to the door, and it's going to say, just like it did many times, our cook ain't here this morning. You ain't getting no food. Denny's is closed until 10 a.m. Okay. And there you go. So Denny's is closed till 10 a.m. So why did they send Jeff Thomas Black over to check on a closed Denny's? Because that's the way the system works. Because the system works. And they wanted to waste my time getting me out of bed in the morning for my first order to go over to the Denny's that ain't open. Okay, I got out of bed. I'm going to take this order because it's a decent order. It's $14 order. So I'm going to drive me over to the Denny's and pick up a $14 order. I get to Denny's, they're closed. So now what do I get? Well, if I call the dipshit line, the third party, they can be nice people. They don't work for DoorDash either. They're just as confused and disempowered as you are, maybe worse. They probably work under a lot of fear as well of getting decapitated from their job. They don't want to be. Nobody wants to be decapitated. We're dependent on this income. So we call these guys, and after a little while, we talk to these guys and we say, "Please, sir, may I have the half pay because you sent me to a closed restaurant." And they go, "Oh, hold on, sir." And then after about 25, 30 minutes, depending, this confused individual comes back and tells you got half pay. Now, you may or may not have half pay because many times I've been told I got half pay. Then I'm driving home in the afternoon after I finally log off the app, because when they give you half pay, you can't see that while the app is running, right? You can only see that when you log off the app. So they give you the half pay, then you're driving home and you look at your total for the day and it don't have the half pay in it. So then you got to call DoorDash support again on your way home and go, that half pay that you said I was going to get at the Denny's at 9:30 this morning. They go, well, which one is that? Because they don't even know. I mean, you guys can put a one in the chat if you know what I'm talking about here. They don't even know. They're like, well, which Denny's order was that? And you go, I don't know. It's about 9:30 a.m. Don't you work for DoorDash? And they go, no, I don't work for DoorDash. I don't know nothing. And you're like, well, okay. Well, it was the one between, it was my first order this morning. It was Denny's. Well, I don't know. I don't see it. Okay, so these people's just as confused as you are. That's who they give you for support. That's how you know how important you are. That they give you the support that they don't know either. They don't know support. They don't know you. You don't know support. You don't know them. But they tell you they love you. You best believe they're loving you. I'm tearing up. This is my mobile mouse pad. It's my mobile mouse pad. You like that? Dad Dash living a fancy life. Dad Dash living a fancy life. It's a mobile mouse pad. Okay, so Stephen Arrow knows where it's coming from, right? This is how they waste our time during the day. This is how the business risk is on us, because we're not only paying more for all the expenses because of inflation, we're paying more for the gas, we're paying more for our car. We can't even get our car fixed when it breaks down. Car's getting fucked up and door dinged by all these people parking next to us and dinging our door while we're trying to go in and do our grocery shopping with our red card. Then we come out and we get in the half pay and we call them and then we don't get it. This is a clusterfuck, people. This is a clusterfuck. You think this is legitimate employment when they're lying to you about the contract? Then you get a clusterfuck. Then you go to a restaurant that ain't even open, and then like Aaron from Uber Lyft Phoenix, they're going to keep $1,700 of your money because they're going to say you use their app wrongly. They said, well, we're telling you, that you didn't report the restaurant closed good enough, or you reported the restaurant closed and we already knew it was closed, so we don't like your clothes, so we're gonna decapitate you again, and we're gonna keep your $1,700, which they have kept his $1,700 for over a year. Well, let's see here. Truth Bad Cheer. Here's the one thing we don't let happen in the chat. We ain't gonna let you lie to people, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put this user in timeout. You're gonna be in timeout, Cherry. You're over there in the kitty corner with the other children that are acting badly. I learned that from my buddy Glitch Dash. Dad Dash clusterfuck. That's right. The Stephen Askin is a clusterfuck. Okay, so I'm spilling lots of beans to you here, but here's what we need to know. Here's what we need to know, right? This is collusion. This is arbitrage. The reason that the reason that Grubhub and Uber Eats, these dog shit platforms that don't do nothing, the reason they're there, that's air cover for your DoorDash, which is the moneymaker, right? Because when we go to Jeffistan, I remember where we were at now. When we go to Jeffistan with King Steve Askin 13, Steve Askin Maskeen 13, the king of Jeffistan, well, Steve Askin 13, the king of Jeffistan, he's going to put one of these highfalutin cell phones. I think I dropped mine under my chair. We ain't going to worry about it. Anyway, he's going to put one of these highfalutin cell phones that looks like a red big lighter. He's going to put that into hand of every single one of these slaves that's building him the Steve Askin 13 always cherry pick memorial pyramid scheme. Okay, so when Steve Askin 13 Maskini is building his always cherry pick memorial pyramid schemes, he's going to put one of these fancy smartphones in the hand of every slave, and he's going to tell those slaves, if I ever catch your person either not listening to or away from this tracking device called the smartphone, I'm going to decapitate you. Well, he might decapitate you by taking you off the platform, or old Steve Askin 13 might be a vampire. He might cut off your head and drink blood out of your skull. Steve Askin 13, the king of Jeffiscan, might just cut off your head and drink blood right from your skull, and share sips with you. Always cherry pick. That's what he might do. Is that what you want? Is that the future you want? You going to trust the Steve Askin 13 to be your king of Jeffistan and make your kids build them pyramids and decapitate them if they put their cell phone down? Because that's the technology DoorDash has. It doesn't have to be attached to delivering Happy Meals. That's just step one. Step one is delivering Happy Meals. Somebody was on Glitch Dash's chat last night over the nights. Thomas Schubeck, the Glitch Dash. Everybody, if you're not subscribed to that, you're missing the best show on the YouTubes. Somebody put the Thomas Glitch Dash Schubeck's URL in the chat so that anybody watching this now or in forever can find the Thomas Glitch-Schubeck live chat, please? Thank you. So you're last night on that, they're saying, well, isn't it going to be interesting if DoorDash starts telling people that, well, you're going to deliver a BMW by DoorDash. We're going to give you $10 and you're going to go pick up a BMW because you got yourself a clean driving record. I approved you. You paid for your license. You paid. Yeah, I'm predicting the future here. You paid $20 for the license to do the DoorDash car delivery. Yes, you did. It's called the Tony Shu car delivery service. Yeah, they called me Glitch Dash. That's the man. That's the man right there. Thank you, Stephen Arrow. So you're now as a DoorDash agent, because you're a DoorDash agent like the Steve Askini Maskini 13 DoorDash King of Jeffistan. Well, you're now going to go delivering BMWs for $15 and it only costs you $20 to sign up. That's a good deal, right? By the time you delivered your second car, you're making a profit. Well, heck. Hey, maybe they'll give you a free Uber ride back to your own vehicle. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? We could just tie all this up in a nice, pretty bow. Now, again, I want to emphasize to you the scam that's going on here because you need to know this. The reason every other gig economy purveyor out there, including Uber and Lyft, who are both dog shit, exist is to provide air cover for the DoorDash scam. DoorDash is the real scam of the gig economy. That's why this book's about DoorDash. That's a little secret for you. I actually told you that, I think, in the first chapter, but I'm telling you it again. The real criminal of Glitchgate, the real criminal of the rideshare industry, the real criminal of the global gig economy, that's called DoorDash. TFT. Nice to see you, TFT. Always good to see the TFT. TFT brings the truth. Yes, sir. So, what is going on here, folks, if you've just been watching the YouTubes, is much bigger and more serious than the YouTube's ever been. Okay, that's how if you want to go to my Twitter channel and you want to read any of this for yourself, you want to see all the citations and the resources and the articles, and you want to read these things for yourself. Well, it's easy to find. You put in Jeff Thomas Black Twitter, and you're gonna find me. My Twitter handle, not that it matters, I'll put it in there, but you'd find it anyway. It's LRB. It is not at, well, I guess it's called X now because that's an X-rated site. Now it does pornography. But anyway, it used to be called Twitter. Now it's X-rated, but it used to be called Twitter. You ain't gonna get no nut shots. You ain't gonna get to see me measuring my testiculars like the Pedro. But it is X-rated. It is X-rated now, and I think we can all appreciate that. So, collusion, criminal activity, organized crime, lying, artificial intelligence, SoftBank, BlackRock, slavery, app colonization, fraud. That's what's going on here. That's what's always been going on here, and that's what you're going to get a book about. And so, when are you going to get this book? Well, I think I'm just about deciding when I'm going to give you this book because it's been ready for you. I just have to decide. See, I could give you a 650-page book. You don't want to read 650-page book. You don't. I know you don't. You might read part 2 and part 3, but I don't want to give you a 650-page book. I want to give you something a little bit smaller and more digestible. Might even make some of the print a little bit larger for you because I know a lot of these folks ain't used to reading a lot of books, and it's got to be an audiobook. So got to make it easier for you to read. So that is always easier than it sounds to give somebody a book that's easy to consume and read. That's much, much, much easier than it sounds. It's a difficult job. So the reason I'm holding off giving you this book is I want to give you the right book. I don't want to give you the book for 6 months ago. I don't want to give you the book for a year ago. You guys are awake now. You don't need the book for the sleeping people. In fact, you're the leaders. You're the leaders that are going to wake everybody up. They don't want to listen to me. Nobody wants to listen to me. I don't even want to listen to me. I'm retired. Get off my lawn. Get off my lawn. So we're just gonna wrap this up pretty quick here. We've been going for a long time. Well, Dad Dash got to pee. I got, my testiculars are fine, but Dad Dash is getting old. Dad Dash got to pee in the morning after drinking the coffee. Let's see here. I don't even know what time it is. Anybody tell me what time it is? How long we've been doing this thing? It's 11:25. Okay. Read some comments, Jeff. Yes, sir. I will follow your directions. Let's read some comments. Not into religion or politics. The reset has nothing to do with it. Well, I think Sinful Toaster, I think each of us processes the world in our own way. This is my view as a person who was never raised with or uh, ensconced in any religion. Okay, so I am also not into religion and politics, but that doesn't matter because all that is a worldview, right? All that is a different view. So the difference between what I call meditating and what Brian might call praying is probably virtually none. Okay, that's my view anyway. So I think we could worry about those things much less and do just as well. And if somebody's religion puts you off, then just ignore it. That's fine. I mean, I've spent my entire life ignoring people's religions because I've been around a lot of religious people, and I was not raised as or ensconced in any church. So that was very foreign to me. But also, I don't have to, I don't need to go up to them on the street and go, "Hi, I'm Pygro. You will not like Jesus Christ. You will not like Buddha. You will not like Mohammed. You can like anybody you want, right? If you're nice to people, I got no problem with you. If you're good to people, I got no problem. Now, if you're a Steve Askin 13 around there, being some kind of dunderhead rolling around lying to people, well, I got a problem with you. I got a big problem with you. And he's a dunderhead. Okay. So much for the world, but it's a secret, huh? Well, it's not really a secret. I mean, yes, it's a secret. Look, Twiggy, if this weren't a secret, it wouldn't be 16 of us sitting here talking about it. It's a big fucking secret. It's a big world out there. You guys are going to have to do the work to wake people up. I can't do this by myself. If I could do this by myself, I'd have locked myself in a cabin and printed a book for a year ago that nobody read. And then we'd all be having fun, right? I'd have a book and I'd say, "Hey, my name's Jeff Thomas Black. I got a book. Nobody read it." And we'd all be very excited. Um, that's why DoorDash don't want you to put the receipts. That's exactly right. I always did. I will tell you, every time I get a receipt, every time I've ever gotten a receipt, I put it on the bag with the customer. I don't care what I don't DoorDash anymore, but that's what I always did, and I always thought that was really creepy that they thought you shouldn't put the receipt because I thought that was stupid. Cherry, that might describe you. Yeah, it's a lot of things describing the cherry. Matrix cable TV. Yeah, we could. But see, here's the thing: we all get very easily stuck in our points of view, just like the world is stuck in a point of view right now that DoorDash exists, so it will always exist. That's not the case. Enron existed; it does not exist today. Okay, FTX existed; it does not exist in the same form today. Uh, let's choose a brick and mortar store, right? Home Base, one of Home Depot's early competitors that Home Depot put out of business with very aggressive monopolization techniques. Well, they don't exist today, do they? Lots of things that exist one day don't exist another day. Just because you don't understand how the corporate world works or how this fraud's going to come falling apart, don't mean it's not going to happen. It's going to happen. You got a guarantee from me. You come back and tell me when I'm wrong. I'll enjoy that. I'll enjoy that. Jeff, you're making me hungry. I made myself kind of hungry too, and I got to pee. Biblical inflation now, Happy Meal with taxes, $10. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And there's no end to this inflation, right? Because it's not trackable. They're doing this. They're fleecing people 1 minute at a time, one person at a time, and then they're hiding the evidence. That's what DoorDash is all about. This artificial intelligence hides all the evidence when it fleeces you, right? When the government comes to DoorDash and says, "Give us all your evidence," they're going to go, "We don't got none. We don't even know those people that deliver in DoorDash. They do that they do that for a third party contractor. Never met them, don't know them, never talked to them." And they'll be right. They'll be telling you the truth because that's how they built it. It's called plausible deniability. It's called plausible deniability. They got plausible deniability. You don't exist. Well, I think you exist. I bet you think you exist. Yeah, zero carbon pollution equals Bill Gates. Bill Gates is some carbon pollution. There ain't no billionaire out there that's not carbon pollution. Believe me. Psyoping everyone. Yep, we're psyoping everyone. We're psyoping everyone. It's a so shop. Yep. My appealing life. Gold 3030. Yeah, look. If you wonder why there are people that come out of the woodwork that might hate Jeff Thomas Black, is that this ain't just about DoorDash. This is about corporate AI and the future of the world. This is way more important than you know if you're thinking about the gig economy. Gig economy is the tip of the spear. You're just the first and best victims because you're the poorest and most desperate people in the world, just as I am, right? They got us while we were down. They're kicking us while we were down. And they're assuming that while they're kicking us while we're down, we ain't going to get our stuff together to figure out we're being kicked. Well, we figured it out. We figured out we're being kicked. You don't get to kick us forever. Oh, let's see what we got here. Electric bikes, only 15 cities. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Look, they want child immigrants on bikes. They want all kinds of labor that are so untrackable and unfindable and unknowable that nobody ever finds them, tracks them, or knows them. That's called labor laundering. That's I come up with that term. Sergio Avedian of Rideshare Rodeo, or no, Rideshare Guy, loves that term. He's commented on it many times and continues to give me credit for coming up with that term, labor laundering, because they're laundering labor. They're hiding the inputs and the sources and the impacts and outputs of labor. That's what they're doing. That's what the gig economy is about. It's about hiding you. And when they're hiding you, they're doing that because they're exploiting you. And they don't want the world to know they're exploiting you. They don't want you to know they're exploiting you. Woo, this is exhausting, right? Because we go around in circles. It's just back and back and back to the same thing of you being exploited. No matter which way you turn, you're being exploited. You turn left, you're being exploited. You turn right, you're being exploited. You get on a bike, you're being exploited. You get in your car, you're being exploited. You log on the app, you're being exploited. You eat a Happy Meal, you're being exploited. You open up a restaurant, you're being exploited. You're being exploited. I am a vampire, also Dracula. Yeah, that's we're all the vampires. We do an opinion system. Cherry. We got disinformation agents. We got sinful toasters. Damian Blaze. Hey, good morning, Damian. You're dragging up. You're dragging in. Damian Blaze is up late with the glitch dash, and then he getting up. And we got different hours. I love sleeping while the glitch dash works, so I can wake up in the morning and watch me some glitch dash and see what you all were learning overnight, and see what I can learn overnight. Thomas Glitch Dash Schubeck's pretty smart feller. He's a good teacher. He's a real good teacher. The average delivery driver has 40% of their wages stolen from every day. Yeah, I agree with that, Brian. I think at the end of this long story, these gig economy cabal purveyors, there is no gig economy. It's just the real economy, right? It's just the global economy. Uber's just a taxi. Lyft is just a taxi. They can name them anything they want. Still just a taxi. You want to be a taxi driver? Then be a fucking taxi driver. You can call yourself like a Blaze driver. You call every car. You like, I'm a Blaze driver. I now drive a Blaze. Call yourself whatever you want. And taxi's a taxi, son. Happy Meal's a Happy Meal. You can fancify your taxi or your limo or your car service. Look, man, I traveled for business for 30 years. How many car services and taxis you think I've taken? Town cars and car services and airport taxis and gypsy cabs, whatever else. A million. Uber and Lyft invented exactly nothing except for a way to fleece people to do what they're already doing. They broke up the mob style monopolies of the taxis for the mob style monopolies of the gig economy. What do you fucking do? You get to meet the new mob, same as the old mob. I think that's a Who song, right? We won't get fooled again. Meet the new mob, same as the old mob. It's the same as the old mob. They just got a different mob for you. Look, they got artificial intelligence now. They don't even have to employ you anymore. You know how excited they are to get rid of you? You know what a pain in the ass humans are? What a pain in the ass humans are? If they could get rid of us humans, do you have any idea how much fun they could have? You are a pain in the ass. They do not want you. They do not want to employ you. They do not want to know you. They want you to quietly make them wealthy while you die. That is what they would like from you. If you would like to comply, then you go ahead and do that. You just go ahead and do that. Please don't. Please don't. I think life is worth living. I think we're going to win this war against the artificial intelligence because we have to. I mean, I'm not giving up my humanity. If you want to give up your humanity, you just give up your humanity. You got the wrong guy. I ain't doing it. Never, never. You get me, you put a gun to my head and you're going to pull the trigger, you go ahead and pull that trigger, you put a gun to my head. I still ain't giving up my freedom and my autonomy to artificial intelligence. See, you can't win. You can win. You cannot beat me. You cannot beat me and they cannot beat you. They cannot beat you unless you give them the permission. and it's called the log outage. That's what we're going to start doing. That's what we're all going to start doing. We're going to do the log outage. I'm going to type it right here. I came up with this over a year ago. Log outage. Okay, that's how you. That is the one and only way you beat the gig economy, and you beat them overnight. You just turn it off. You just turn it off. Dad Dash, you motherfucking piece of shit. Hey, Steve Askin, you are a piece of shit and you're a liar. I'm glad you came to this thing. Why don't you just go call Robert Reese? You just call Hot Facts with Robert Reese and you tell Robert Reese what time you want to have a live broadcast today. This has been Dad Dash, Jeff Thomas Black, Dad Dash 13, Steve Askin Maskini. He's a giant piece of shit and a liar. He's here in the chat. You go follow him and you go watch his work. All righty. You guys all have a wonderful day. This has been a Dad Dash Sunday morning.